Natalie Stratton of Advanced Physical Therapy talks from the heart about building relationships with her patients.
We do develop relationships with people, and by doing that, they can trust you because they build that rapport with you so they can trust you, and they start to tell you more, and so you learn more about their medical condition or just their life condition, and so it does allow you to, direct them in different ways. And you're seeing some people 2 or 3 times a week, for that half hour to an hour of that one-on-one time. Plus, we love it. I mean, that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm in the profession. I like those relationships with people. I see that as a success in treatment. If I can get people to trust me and trust what I'm saying, they're going to buy into what I'm saying. That's why, again, I try to go and do everything I can, new techniques or new ways or different approaches to getting people better. And the more I do that, then, again, you can kind of take people to that next level.
Advanced Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. On the web at advancept.net. Advance through life with Advance.
What's a podiatrist? A foot doctor. A foot doctor? I didn't know there was such a thing. There is. 25 years ago, I started out with a business plan and a dream. I went to 3 area banks. First Bankers Trust said it was great, and they asked me if I wanted more money than what I was asking for. But that was the start of my relationship with First Bankers Trust. My dreams have come true.
First Bankers Trust, your bank of dreams.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls. I'll confidentially ask you questions to help you make decisions about your life insurance, IRAs, long-term care insurance, investing, and estate planning. Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls.
In the past,
everyone has a story. This story is about Sandra. She's a teacher and she suffered from migraine tension headaches daily. Determined not to rely on drugs for relief, she turned to Advanced Physical Therapy for help. What can you learn from Sandra and her treatment at Advance? In the words of physical therapist Natalie Stratton.
A lot of times people are told that physical therapy won't do anything for migraines. There's so many different causes of migraines. There's different things that we can do that definitely help alleviate a lot of that pain, an alternative to maybe what you tried so far. The other thing, I know a lot of times people are like, I've tried everything, but I guess I would ask you, have you tried physical therapy? Have you tried, a different type of physical therapy? Because that is worth looking into because it may help you.
If you're dealing with frequent migraine tension headaches and think you're stuck, think again. Advanced Physical Therapy has helped many people say,
I didn't know I could feel this good again.
Advanced Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine on the web at advancedpt.net. Advance through life with Advance.
QND Field as the Raiders getting set on Blue Devils. 8-2 on the season are the Blue Devils. QND comes in 9-1. And Kyle, you mentioned during the commercial break that Peotone looks like they brought a lot of folks here today to experience this second round playoff game.
Yeah, they did. And it's good to see. And certainly hats off to the folks from Peotone for that many people making the trip. So it's good to see them making the big long trip. And it's probably further evidence of what a fun ride this season has been for them, up to week 11 here with the big wins in those rivalry games that we mentioned. Certainly a big playoff victory last week against Pontiac. So the fun continues for the Peotone Blue Devils, and the Raiders hopefully end that after 11 games.
Yeah, we were talking about the matchup between QND and Peotone before we went to the interview with head coach Bill Cannell. And one thing I found interesting yesterday, Kyle, as a matter of fact, in getting on the Key newspaper website and hoping to read the preview article, but I don't have a subscription, so I wasn't allowed to. But the headline read, Peotone looks to take advantage of size advantage. And I thought to myself, I went, they're not that big.
Right.
And you look at their starters, and they have some 6'4" kids, some 6'3" kids, but they're not huge. Their biggest player, Trevor Marovka, is 6'3", 280, but they have a 6'4", 205 young man. They have a 6'4", 190 young man, a 6'4", 205. So they have some height, but I wouldn't necessarily, and when you look at the Blue Devils as they get ready for this game, I wouldn't say they're exactly big. I'd say they're tall, but I wouldn't say they're big.
No, it's, especially defensively. I mean, you mentioned some of the guys on the offense there. I mean, Marovka also plays defense. But as far as the roster is concerned, there's only one other person listed on their defense at over 200 pounds. So, and that's probably one of the best, if not the best, defensive player, Josh Vincent, 6'4", 205 senior. But I agree with you. It's not necessarily they're going to line up and just have 50 pounds across the board on the Raiders and just bury them. Nothing. That's not the case at all. So, big physical team though, some size here and there, and power is probably their game, and certainly tough defense that you alluded to earlier is certainly a staple of their success too.
Once again, let's tell folks who may be listening on the internet or on their iPhones that you can do so if you weren't aware of it. You can listen to the game broadcast today on WTAD.com. And if you have a smartphone, you can go to www.tunein.com and type in Quincy, Illinois. When you see WTAD, click on that. You are able to hear the broadcast. And the fine folks at QuincyJournal.com are videotaping the game, and that will be available either later on this evening or tomorrow. So plenty of ways for relatives and family and friends outside the Quincy area and outside the listening area of WTAD to stay up to date with QND football as they hopefully make a deep run in the playoffs, but a true test today against Peotone.
You're right. This would be a real nice one, obviously, for either program. But Peotone wins their first playoff game in several years. Last week, QND, their first playoff victory after losing 3 straight playoff games in a row just last week too. So both of them trying to keep the momentum going. A dream season of sorts for Peotone, and QND certainly been in this situation many times before. Maybe not the last year or two, but certainly, it's certainly the atmosphere and expectations that QND's built up for itself in the last 5, 10 plus years.
A couple of things real quick. The fine folks in Peotone like their flags. They have 4 flags that they erected behind one set of bleachers, and they have 5 flags. Actually, 6 flags erected behind the bigger set of bleachers over on the far sideline. So Peotone was ready for the game today, just on flags alone.
And as you say, the Peotone Blue Devils take the field behind one of their students who carries another great big flag. The style of the Blue Devils, same as the Duke Blue Devils, for those that are familiar with the Duke basketball team. So flags everywhere, blue and white and black, and Peotone's pumped up. They've shaken off the rust in that bus ride. They're ready to play some football, and let's certainly hope the Raiders are too.
Raiders have won the toss and have elected to receive, so they will get the ball first here, barring any turnovers, on the first kickoff of this ball game. It's the Class 4A second-round playoffs, as Peotone, white on white with royal blue numbers and royal blue helmets, taking on the Quincy Notre Dame Raiders, blue on blue with white numbers, gold trim, and of course the golden domes. Putting it on the tee at the 40-yard line for the fine folks from Peotone is their kicker, Troy Lensing. Actually, it's a different kicker. It's number 24, and that is Joey Janutis.
Janutis also doubles as a leading receiver, really the playmaker through the air. 7 catches for almost 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
And the opening kick is down the middle of the field, and will come to Jordan Chappell at about his own 15-yard line. Chappell right up the gut. He's got to see. He could go to the house. He's at the 50, 45, 30, and is caught from behind at about the 37-yard line. Peotone wants a fumble, but it's not coming, and Jordan Chappell with a long return straight up the middle of the field puts the Raiders in plus territory at the Peotone 37, 1st and 10 QND.
Well, Jordan Chappell, certainly, consistent playmaker for QND all year long. This time he gets it going again on special teams. So just a kind of quick start we talked about in the pregame, courtesy of the kickoff return group and Jordan Chappell right up the middle.
So 1st and 10 QND from the Peotone 37-yard line. As there's some equipment on the field. Nobody from Peotone went out and got the kicking tee off the field. So here we go. Raiders come out spread. 3-by-1 the receivers, 3 to the far side, and someone on the right side of the line of scrimmage moved, but they don't throw the flag, and now they do at the end of the play. It's getting stuffed at the line of scrimmage was Dalen Anders, I believe. but somebody on the right end of the QND offensive line moved early, and they call a dead ball, false start on QND.
Not sure what the delay was. You know, you mentioned it clear as day. You could see it real clear. Thought the refs get it right. QND going to get another crack at a first down play, just 5 yards back.
And there was no room to run for Anders on that first play for QND, as the Raiders had 3 to the far side, lined up at receiver and tried to run opposite with Anders. But no go, but no play because of the false start. So the Raiders have it. 1st and 15 from the Peotone 42. McKay takes the snap, looking one way, fires the other, wide open middle of the field. It's Barry Welper. He stops and falls down inside the 20 at about the 18-yard line, and now a late flag comes in as they may call Jordan Chappell for a late hit, an unnecessary hit at the end of the play. It's either on the person who was being blocked by Chappell or on Chappell.
I think they're going to go ahead and get Chappell for it, just trying to make one more block, and did so a little bit late. Nice catch nice connection from McKay to Welper, and it's going to come back 15 yards. Still going to be a first down for QND. They're just going to walk it back 15 yards from the penalty. Blue Devils come out in a 4-3 defense. One guy to keep an eye on for for Raiders offensively, defensive end Josh Benson. We mentioned a little bit in the pregame show, 6'4", 205 senior. 24 tackles for loss coming into today's ball game, so certainly want to keep him away from Dalen Anders and Joe McKay when they try to pass.
24-yard pickup on the reception by Welper, but then the penalty on Chappell, 15 yards. It's still 1st and 10 QND, but instead of being in the red zone, put the ball down at the Peotone 33. Raiders come out in the spread, 2-by-2 the receiver, sidecar right is Anders. McKay takes the snap, looking one way, comes back the other, has Welper again. He gets it inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line, depends on the spot. And I think the Raiders get it inside the 30, and it is marked down at the 29-yard line. So a pickup of 4, and it'll be 2nd and 6 for QND.
Well, good to see Barry Welper out there offensively for QND. Talked about a lot last week, on the shelf for most of the second half of that game with some issues with his hip. So off to a quick start already with 2 catches.
Raiders come out power I on 2nd and 5. Pitch to Anders. Goes right up the middle of the field, gets knocked off his feet, but not until he's inside the 25 to around the 24 and very close to the first down. Looks like they're going to mark him a yard short of the first down. So a gain of 5 for Anders and brings up 3rd and 1 for QND at the Peotone 25-yard line.
QND mixing it up there a little bit. This, going spread for the most part to start the game. That time they went back to the power I. Again, probably trying to see a little bit different looks from Peotone defensively, trying to see how they align to the different offensive alignments QND has, and probably using some of that for further game planning.
Ball on the right hash, 3rd and 1 from the Peotone 25. McKay turns, gives it to Anders. He's got the first down and knocked down at about the 21-yard line. So 3rd and 1, Anders picks up 4, 1st and 10 QND from the 21-yard line of Peotone.
Patrick Shipman, the first one to get to him, 5'8", senior defensive back, and Anders doing a nice job. It would have been a first down when Shipman hit him, but Anders is able to keep the legs going and knock Shipman back for a couple more yards. So good start for QND. A couple passes through the air for completions. Nice couple runs for Anders as well.
3-by-1, the receivers out of the spread for QND on 1st and 10 from the Peotone 21. McKay takes the snap. Looking, now throws the fade. Welper pushing with Shipman, and the pass is just overthrown, incomplete. Good coverage by Shipman downfield as he was inside of Welper.
Well, you're exactly right there. Good coverage there inside of Welper. Again, Joe McKay kind of putting the ball up in the air, letting his receivers make a play, and the officials also letting them try to make a play. There was some good contact as that ball was in the air. No flags, and QND will try something else here on 2nd down.
2nd and 10 QND from the Peotone 21. Again, the ball on the right hash. McKay runs the option. He'll pitch it to Anders. Anders has room to run. He's close to the first down, and they're going to say he finally came down. He landed on a couple of Blue Devils, so it all depends on the spot. And I'm not sure where they're going to put it. Looks like they're going to mark Anders down short of the 11-yard line. Well, if he ever gets down to putting the ball, there you go. Puts it down at the 12, so it's going to be 3rd and about a yard for QND.
QND might have caught a break there. It looked like that front line for Peotone was actually slanting towards the wide side of the field. QND runs the option to the short side, and not a ton of resistance there from Anders when he got outside.
The traditional I formation on 3rd and 1 from the Peotone 12. McKay turns and gives it to Anders. He's got the first down and knocked off his feet at around the 6-yard line. So 1st and goal QND, and Anders picks up about 5 more on that carry.
Yeah, another nice carry there. Looked like Clay Dargert, again, one of the primary defensive players for Peotone on that tackle. 114 tackles coming into today's ball game. So QND really establishing Anders here these last several plays, getting Anders into some rhythm and getting that ground game going.
First and goal, QND from the Peotone 6. Ball on the right hash, out of the power I. McKay turns, gives it to Kinsel. He tries to sneak his way through the hole, but only gets about a yard. Down at the 5-yard line, Parker Kinsel, tackled by about 3 Blue Devils. So a gain of a yard for QND brings up second and goal from the 5-yard line.
Real physical game here so far inside. Kinsel now getting in on the action, and none of these plays really ended with the soft takedown to the ground. It's been some good physical tackling and good hard running from Anders too.
Raiders come out in the spread, 2-by-2 the receivers, ball on the right hash. On second and goal from the 5, McKay has it. Looking, fires, and it's over the head of Chappell incomplete. And folks groan, Kyle, but you'd rather have that ball a little too far than a little short, because if that's picked off, somebody from Peotone's going down to the other sideline untouched.
Yeah, probably one Joe McKay would like to have back. That time Chappell tried what's called a stick route, where he kind of jams inside and then flattens back out along the goal line to get outside. McKay probably would prefer to deliver that towards the outside, hit Chappell in stride, going towards the pylon. That time threw it a touch inside and a bit high too.
McKay directing traffic with the upbacks in the power I. Third and goal from the Peotone 5. Ginnebacher's going to go in motion towards the far side. McKay turns, they run a double fake, give it to Anderson. He's tackled 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage by Kyle's friend, Josh Vincent.
That time QND trying to go with the counterplay, and they try sending Ginnebacher in motion to the far side there. And absolutely not fooled at all were the Peotone Blue Devils. Anders was just getting swallowed right when he took that handoff. So
Ginnebacher went in motion, Kyle, towards the far side of the field, and nobody from Peotone moved an inch.
Yeah.
So here is a field goal attempt by Zach Bailey. It'll be 25 yards. Ball back, and the kick is up, and it looks pretty good, but it is good.
All right.
Zach Bailey with a 25-yard field goal, and QND takes a 3-0 lead as the Raiders keep it for almost 4 minutes and get a field goal out of it. 3-0, the Raiders lead Peotone. Back in 30 seconds here on WTAD.
What's a podiatrist? A foot doctor. A foot doctor? I didn't know there was such a thing. There is. 25 years ago, I started out with a business plan and a dream. I went to 3 area banks. First Bankers Trust said it was great, and they asked me if I wanted more money than what I was asking for. But that was the start of my relationship with First Bankers Trust. My dreams have come true.
First Bankers Trust, your bank of dreams.
Second round playoff game in Class 4A, and QND leads Peotone by the score of 3-0. Big kickoff return by Jordan Chappell, Kyle, and the Raiders get at least some points out of it, but the QND had first and goal from the 6 and lost 3 yards after that.
Yeah, nice stand defensively for Peotone, and after giving up that long kick return, and then certainly another first down, that one of the first plays of the game there to Welper. All in all, Peotone's going to be fairly pleased with that defensive possession. I mean, QND took over with great field position and held, was then able to get a field goal out of it.
Zeke Little puts the ball back in play for QND and drives one towards the far sideline. It's taken by Jake Rapson at his own 5. Rapson. They're going with wristbands here, Kyle, out of a wishbone set. The Peotone Blue Devils from their own 26-yard line. Quads to the near side in the diamond formation. We saw this a little bit last week from Coal City. Jake Rapson is the back part of the diamond. Wenzel in the spread. Raiders jump but don't enter the neutral zone. Now Wenzel looks to the far sideline. Timeout, Peotone. 6:54 left to go first quarter. We'll keep it right here. So Peotone comes out in that diamond formation with their 4 wides, Kyle. And I didn't see a receiver split the far side. And as soon as Brandon Wenzel looked at the sideline, their coaches went, you know what, we better burn a timeout.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised, too. QND, obviously, they weren't flustered. They had practice for that. They knew, what they wanted to do. But, man, they really had QND outflanked on that 4-receiver side. QND personnel, they had 5 down linemen on that play. So they brought out 2 defenders up against those 4 receivers and then had Chappell as a safety over the top. So, I mean, really, I thought QND looked a little bit susceptible to a quick pass.
You know, it's interesting, Kyle, last week when Coal City came out in that formation and you kept waiting for a pass to that most deep receiver out of that set, and when they finally did throw it, Luke Frieden read it and knocked the pass away. I never thought of it during the live action, but once the game was over, somebody said to me, wasn't that a lateral? And sure enough, that was that play, but they called it a pass. So we come back to action after the timeout. Peotone lines up in the same formation. They chuck it out here to Jake Rapson, and he's immediately wrapped up by the Raiders, swallowed up by Zach Bailey and Brady Ginnebacher. Ginnebacher ends up with the ball, but it's a loss of 5 on the play, and it's going to be 4th and about 7 for Peotone.
Well, there you go. Bailey probably sitting on that quick pass. I mean, so he's a little bit outflanked, a little bit outnumbered as a cornerback against that formation, but he's really sitting hard, expecting that quick pass. And Bailey with a big stop on 3rd down. See if the Raiders can get another good field position.
Snap, bounces, hits the chest of the punter, but he's able to get the kick away. It's going to be a short kick that will bounce inside the Raider 45 and come to a stop at about the 42. Bobby Rapson did a good job to keep his head there, Kyle, get the punt away. But the Raiders take over in pretty good field position for the second time in this ballgame. They actually spot it now at the 41 of QND. 1st and 10 Raiders leading 3-0.
Yeah, nice play there by Rapson to get rid of that ball. He was able to punt the ball into with the wind as well, so able to get a pretty decent punt out of it. So Peotone able to kind of escape a quick disaster there.
So the Raiders take over at their own 41, 1st and 10, leading 3-0. Raiders come out traditional I, tight end near side, receiver split to both sides. McKay gets under his center, Jimmy Case. Quick count, McKay looking on the slant pattern, and it's off the hands of Chappell, incomplete. And I think Jordan Chappell that time, Kyle, was waiting to see what kind of defender was going to hit him right away, and he forgot step 1, and that's catch the ball.
Yeah, he knows it. It's probably one he wishes he could have back because that was on the money, hit him in the hands, and he had some room to operate there, too. Would have caught the ball in stride, but Raiders will have to try it again on 2nd down. Now, look, that play was wide open. You got to believe QND will come back to that slant here before long.
The traditional I-2 receivers near side, pitch it near side to Anders. Gets a block on the corner, now cuts it inside, and he'll get about 5. Closer to 45, depends on the spot, and I think they're going to give Dalen Anders to 46, so it's a gain of 5. They'll bring up 3rd and 5 for QND.
That time, Brady Ginnebacher doing a nice job on Trevor Ziebert, the 6'4", 190-pound defensive end.
He wanted 2 touchdowns last week in the win.
Going outside if he wanted. Ginnebacher ends up driving Ziebert back outside, and Anders kind of ducks back in underneath him.
So the Raiders on 3rd and 5 from their own 46 go to the spread. 2-by-2 the receivers, ball on the right hash. McKay takes the snap, looking, passes batted down, and McKay bats it down again. Ziebert got a hand on it, it popped in the air, and McKay just volleyball spiked it away from everybody. And it'll be 4th and 5 for QND, so a good defensive possession for Peotone.
Yeah, nice shot there by Ziebert, and good smart play there by Joe McKay as well to knock that one down. It had a shot at his 2nd catch of the year. He caught the ball in a similar play like that against West Hancock earlier this year, but did the right thing there by knocking it down, and he figured he didn't have much of a chance to get a 1st down. Let's see how Bailey does punting into a real strong wind here all of a sudden.
Wind is swirling here today as the snap back to Bailey is true, and some pressure, and he gets it away, and then it's roughing the punter on Peotone. The punt is grabbed by Janutis, Joey Janutis. He's thrown out of bounds, but Bailey was knocked down. They had good pressure on the near side coming around the corner, and apparently they ran into Zach Bailey. And even if it's a 5-yard penalty, that'll be close to the 1st down, Kyle.
Yeah, I think so.
And the official indicates it's a 5-yard penalty and already held up one finger to say 1st down. They may have to measure, but
I would think so. I think if it's 4th down, it's going to be 4th and inches, and QND probably would like to go for it from about midfield, but let's see what they decide to do after they walk it off.
So They walk it off, and you know what? I think QND's just a bit, well, they immediately moved the sticks. I was going to say, I thought they were going to be just an inch or two short, but apparently they get the first down on the penalty. So the first penalty of the game on Peotone. Let's see if that comes back to haunt the Blue Devils as they run into Zach Bailey, and the Raider drive stays alive. First and 10 QND from the Peotone 49-yard line. Raiders come out, I formation, receivers split to both sides. They run the counter, give it to Anders, and he's able to get past the line of scrimmage by about a body length. Siebert again on stop, along with Brandon Borden, who's in the game defensively for Peotone. So a gain of 1 for Dalen Anders. Brings up 2nd and 9 QND from the Peotone 48-yard line. QND leading 3-0.
Looked like Nick Goverville was one of the first guys to get him, too. He's one of the only 2 juniors really start for this Peotone Blue Devils squad. We mentioned Rose senior-laden squad, so he's one of the couple juniors in there.
Raiders come out in the spread with 2 setbacks, and they give it right up the gut to Anders, and he's able to plow forward and get to about the 43-yard line for a gain of 5. Brings up 3rd and about 4 for QND.
Yeah, QND went to that 2-back set out of shotgun up quite a bit last week and ran some different looks at it. They're bringing out here in the first quarter just to throw some different wrinkles, some different looks at the Blue Devils. That one was a real quick hitter up the middle. That was here you go, and just Anders really burying his head right up the center guard hole there.
Raiders come out, trips to the far side, single receiver near side in the spread. McKay takes the snap, rolls to the far side. Now stands, fires, and has a man open. It's Barry Welper, and he's got the first down inside the 35 of Peotone to about the 33. It looked like out of that 3-receiver set, Kyle Welper just ran a 10-yard route and posted up.
Yeah, I think the corner must have I think the corner was getting deep on that play. All Welper really did, like you mentioned, 5-10 yards down the field, square up right to Joe McKay, and just wait for him to put it on the money. So, too much ground really for the outside linebacker to cover from the Blue Devils, and a nice job McKay taking the easy pass for the first down pickup.
1st and 10 QND from the Peotone 33. Anders now comes in motion, leaving an empty backfield. Now McKay runs it right up the middle of the field and gets stuck. Josh Vincent in on the play, along with Trevor Marebka. So not fooled on that quarterback draw out of the empty backfield. Loss of 2 for Joe McKay brings up 2nd and 12 for QND from the 35 of Peotone.
Yeah, Raiders hoping the Blue Devils would kind of jump out on that motion from Anders. Anders goes in motion to the right to the wide side, and McKay hoping to take advantage of a more opening there as a linebacker would follow him, but absolutely nothing going there.
2-by-2 the receivers for QND out of the spread on 2nd and 12. McKay waiting for Anders to clear, floats one out to Dalen Anders, who has one-on-one with the linebacker, but Bobby Rapson does a good job to stay with Anders and bring him down for a very short gain, if any. Looks like Anders was able to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Let's wait and see. Well, he picked up a yard rather than the 2 that McKay lost on first down, so it brings up 2nd and 11 for QND from the Peotone 34-yard line.
Nice job by Rapson, a two-way player and a senior captain, and kind of took Dalen Anders 1 or 2 more steps there to kind of get himself on balance and squared up upfield than he would have preferred.
Raiders go empty, 3-by-2 the receivers. McKay fakes one way, throws over the middle. Nice hands catch by Welper right near the first down line, and I believe he got it to the 21-yard line. That's a pickup of 13, and a nice catch by Welper. Great concentration.
And 4th catch of the game already for Barry Welper. That time, on a slant pattern, tips it. His ball was thrown over his head. Tips it with his hands, ends up, and then bringing his hands down, kind of tips it to himself to pick up a first down. So QND did a real good job last week in the 3rd down in the passing game. Picks up another one there from on the McKay to Welper connection.
The spread, the Raiders fake the counter. McKay keeps it. He's got running room this time and is able to get about 3 or 4. Down inside the 20 to around the 16-yard line. Actually, that's a gain of 5.
Shipman again there on the tackle. So another nice job there by Shipman to bring down Joe McKay. And again, probably another new look there from the Raiders. That time kind of faking the inside give to Anders, and McKay keeping it off the right-hand side.
And McKay had that hand warmer muff on, if you will. But the temperature in the 60s here at the start of the game, so he took that off and threw it to the sideline. On 2nd and 5 from the Peotone 16, out of the traditional eye, McKay gets under center, looking to throw on a 3-step route. Floats it out for Chappell and just overshot him. Just about a yard too far, incomplete. Janutis with the coverage for Peotone, so it brings up 3rd and 5 for QND from the Peotone 16.
pretty decent coverage there from Janudis. I'm not sure both Janudis and Chappell might have lost that ball a little bit.
Yeah, I think
they
you're
both
right.
kind of, it looked like the ball might have, Chappell might have been open for a little bit deeper pass, but as they both turned around to look for the ball, they kind of slowed down. And so the ball ended up getting overthrown when I don't think it necessarily would have been had they both kept going.
3rd and 5 QND from the Peotone 16. Ball on the right hash out of the spread. McKay takes it, looking, fires, and it's wide of Welper, incomplete. Welper was open, but the pass was thrown towards the sideline. If that pass is towards the inside of the field, I think Welper has a first down. But the Raiders are now faced with a 4th and 5, and it looks like they're going to try another field goal.
Well, credit the Blue Devils defense again for slowing the Raiders down inside the red zone.
Kyle, we have a minute 14 left to go in this first quarter, and Peotone has run 3 plays from scrimmage offensively.
Yeah, certainly, you got to like where you are if you're QND.
And the Raiders call timeout here. We'll keep it right here.
You just want to make sure you don't have too many drives that could be potential touchdowns turned into field goals for QND.
Yeah, it's kind of like that year QND played Rochester in the playoffs, Kyle, where Rochester didn't run their first play from scrimmage until 4 minutes were left in the first quarter, and then ran off 56 points in the next 38 minutes.
Yeah, well, we'll hope it's not quite like that.
So 3-0, QND leading, a minute 14 left to go, first quarter. Raiders have a 4th and 5 at the Peotone 16. And the Raiders call timeout here as they were going to line up for a field goal. And I'm not sure, Kyle, this was a situation where, okay, let's think about it. I think this was more like, okay, if we're going to kick the field goal, let's take our time and not rush into anything.
Sure. This will be a little bit longer kick, so to your point, not wanting to get in a big rush and Bailey not be comfortable with it. Joe Obert in the huddle here.
Yeah, Joe McKay is too. It looks like the Raiders are going to go for it here on 4th and 5, and they are. Would be about a 33-yard kick. And this is really a swirling wind, Kyle. I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
At some points, it's blowing straight into the press box out of the west. Then you look up again, and it's almost blowing straight out of the north. So the Raiders are heading north in this first quarter, so a tough decision to make. And the Raiders decide, even if they don't get it, they have Peotone pinned inside the 20-yard line. So the Raiders come out and go for it on 4th and 5 from the Peotone 16. I formation, receiver split to both sides. McKay takes the snap, pitches it to Anders, who pitches it back to Chappell on an end run, and he's hit by the defender Goberville. And Chappell is brought down at the 15, far short of the first down, and it should be 1st and 10. Peotone going the other way, but we have a flag down laying at about the 12 or 13-yard line. And it's a penalty on Peotone.
Hey.
Personal foul, face mask on Peotone. So Chappell on the end around picked up a yard, and then the personal foul will be half the distance to the goal, and that keeps the Raiders drive alive with a 1st and goal situation.
And I didn't see the face mask. I'm not sure if it was on Chappell on the tackle or where it came from.
I don't think it was on Chappell. I think it was downfield on a blocker.
So QND catches a break. QND going with that reverse that we saw against Monmouth a couple weeks ago. That time I thought the play might have been there. Chappell tried getting around the outside. Joe McKay trying to block Goberville there to the inside. Chappell tried to cut it back and just wasn't there. But QND catches the break and gets the first down. See if they get in the end zone here.
1st and goal, QND from the Peotone 7 after the face mask penalty. Out of the power I, Ginnebacher will go in motion towards the far side. Nobody goes with him. Raiders pitch it wide to Anders with a blocker in front, and he's wrapped up and taken down at about the 4-yard line. Good backside pursuit by Ziebert.
Yeah.
He came flying across, Kyle, and just threw himself at Anders and knocked Anders down after a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, and he wasn't the only one there either. There was 2 or 3 guys really pursuing hard from the backside. And Ziebert just got to him first, big 6'4", 190 senior, and man, he just launched himself onto Anders.
They marked the ball just inside the 5, actually, closer to the 5 than the 4. 2nd and goal, the ball will be on the left hash, and this may be the last play of the first quarter. 3-0 QND leads. Power ice, single receiver near side is Welper. And the Raiders should have been called for a false start, and now they're called for the penalty. Ginnebacher catches and is close to the end zone, but this play's coming back on a false start penalty. Illegal motion on QND. Raider fans aren't going to like it, but that was an obvious call for the officials, especially the referee in the backfield. So that's going to bring up 2nd and goal for QND from about the 10-yard line. And the Raiders may not get another playoff here. I think they'll wind the clock after they set the ball, and that should be the last play of the first quarter. So a 5-yard penalty takes it back to just outside the 10-yard line, just on the 10-yard line. Illegal motion, so it'll be 2nd and goal QND. And no, they don't wind the clock. They just put the ball back in play. So this will be the final play of the first quarter. 2nd and goal from the 10-yard line. Ball on the left hash for QND at the Peotone 10. Raiders come out, single back. 2 receivers to the far side. McKay rolling out, stops, pumps. Now lost one for Schutte. He makes the catch, gets pushed, and does he get into the end zone? No.
Oh, wow.
Gets knocked down at the 1. It'll be 3rd and goal QND when we come back for the second quarter. 9-yard gain, Kyle, and a great play by McKay to be patient and just float the pass.
Yeah, that 2 tight end set, 2 receiver to each side. Schutte just kind of flares out in the flat, and good patience there by Joe McKay to get it over defender and give Schutte a chance to make a play.
After the first quarter, QND leads Peotone 3-0, but the Raiders will have 3rd and goal from the 1 when we come back here in 1 minute on WTAD.
What's a podiatrist? A foot doctor. A foot doctor? I didn't know there was such a thing. There is. 25 years ago, I started out with a business plan and a dream. I went to 3 area banks. First Bankers Trust said it was great, and they asked me if I wanted more money than what I was asking for. But that was the start of my relationship with First Bankers Trust. My dreams have come true.
First Bankers Trust, your bank of dreams.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls. I'll confidentially ask you questions to help you make decisions about your life insurance, IRAs, long-term care insurance, investing, and estate planning. Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls.
3rd and goal from the Blue Devil 1-yard line. Power I for QND. McKay turns, gives it to one of the fullbacks, who punches it into the end zone for the touchdown. I believe it was Brady Ginenbacher.
So,
and it was. So the Raiders take advantage of a roughing the punter, or running into the punter penalty on Peotone to keep the drive alive, and the Raiders punch it into the end zone for a 9-0 lead.
yeah, nice job there by Ginenbacher, just ducking his head and picking up the yard. I mean, you mentioned the running into the punter. There was also the fourth down penalty, where on the face mask penalty that gives the Raiders a first down when they'd been stopped on 4th. So Raiders taking advantage of a couple mistakes.
Bailey's extra point is up and looks good, and it is. 3 seconds into the second quarter, QND leads Peotone by the score of 10-0. And so far in this ball game, Kyle, Peotone has run exactly 3 plays from scrimmage.
Yeah, you certainly got to like, you're already a quarter into this ball game, and certainly no rhythm from Blue Devils offensively. Like you mentioned, only 3 plays. They haven't had a chance to get in rhythm. So credit QND offense for kind of keeping them off the field, getting their running game established, kind of getting the passing game established as well. And you certainly got to like the way this first quarter plus 3 seconds has gone for QND.
Illinois and Indiana tied at 14, less than a minute to play in the first quarter, and I said during the commercial break, Kyle, the first defense that doesn't blink in that game will probably provide the victor. So unfortunately, we can't carry the Illinois game today since Quincy, Notre Dame, and Quincy High are both kicking off at the same time. And it's amazing, Kyle, last week, Illini play at 11, and both QND and Quincy High playing towards the early part of the second half of the game, so we couldn't carry the rest of the Illinois game. This week, Illinois plays at 2:30, and both Quincy schools kick off at 3.
Yeah, they need to run this stuff by us before they start scheduling this stuff,
Silly TV
At least
networks.
by you, maybe not by me.
So the Raiders will kick off again, and this time Zeke Little will have a lot of the wind at his back. But again, it's a swirling wind at about 15 miles an hour.
So he might not, if he punts later or kicks off later.
Here we go. Zeke Little's kick is a high, short kick that will take him by Janutis at about his own 10-yard line. He's waiting for his wedge to develop. Now finds a hole and hits it. Look out, Joey Janutis may be headed to the house. He's at the 45-40, 35-30, and he will take it to the house. Joey Janutis provides a spark for his team with a kickoff return of about 85 yards. And he just was patient. Kyle waited for his wedge to set up, hit the seam, and took it to the house.
Well, it was certainly the Raiders' plan on. They did not. They wanted to try to keep the ball away from Janutis in the kicking game, and he shows you why. A really kind of a odd-looking return there to start. He really paused. I was almost waiting for him to toss the ball across the field or something. It almost looked like he was waiting for something to get set up across the field and then do a long lateral, but nope, he was just waiting for a couple blocks to get eyed up, and real good speed from Joey Janutis, and Blue Devils on the board.
And Peotone lined up in the swinging gate for the extra point. And now they will shift into kick formation. So 10-6, QND leading after Joey Janutis' 85-yard kickoff return. The snap back, and Wensing puts in the extra point. So now the Peotone fans have something to cheer about, Kyle. They've only run 3 plays from scrimmage, but they're only down 10-7.
Yeah, certainly Janutis gets them right back into the ball game without their offense even having to take the field. So we mentioned him as the real big play guy for the Blue Devils. Also a big receiver. This time he delivers on special teams. I'm
looking again, Kyle, at where Janutis accepted that kick, and I'm going to say that's closer to 90 yards. He caught it in one of the quote-unquote muddier parts of the field. The most chewed-up part of the field is from the 10-yard line in towards the south end zone, and I think Janutis took that at about the 10-yard line and raced 90 yards with the kick return and puts Peotone on the board. 17 seconds into the second quarter, it's 10-7. QND leading Peotone, but now all of a sudden the Blue Devils are going to be jacked up about, hey, you know what? We've only run 3 plays, but we're only a field goal down.
Right. You're absolutely right, and their coaches are talking about that. Hopefully they're, you think the Blue Devils are telling each other that. They haven't, they've kind of kicked, put themselves in a little bit of a hole there early with some penalties and giving the Raiders some second chances. So they're right back in it. Kind of a goofy start here to the second quarter. We're 17 seconds into it, and both teams have already scored, which is kind of an odd deal. So
yeah, one on a 1-yard touchdown run, first play of the second quarter, and then a 90-yard kickoff return.
Right.
Raider fans were a little upset. Zeke Little was trying to chase down Janutis, and one of the Peotone players down near the goal line went ahead and hit Little.
Right. It was
when basically there was no way Janutis was going to be caught by Zeke Little, and a couple of the Raider fans were kind of upset about that, but that's football.
Yeah, I was almost, certainly Janutis was just about to cross the goal line. I was a little surprised they didn't throw it. It certainly made no difference in the play, but, Little did get blocked in the back, but.
Well, it wasn't exactly a crushing hit.
It wasn't.
Here's a short kick that will go out of bounds, and I'm not sure that was meant to be the type of kick it was, as Janutis may be so tired from his 90-yard run that he just,
right.
That was the old look up from your wedge shot, Kyle, and shank it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they thought they saw a little dead spot there in QND's return game. They wanted to try to attack, or maybe they're just trying to keep the ball away from Jordan Chappell and try and do something different. You can imagine QND might try something like that next time they kick off.
So they mark it where the ball went out of bounds. So the Raiders will take over at their own 37. First and 10. 10-7 our score, QND leading Peotone. And boy, Kyle, just when you didn't think the second quarter could get any more odd, we have a shank kick out of bounds. So first and 10 QND from their own 37. Out of the power I. Bring Ginenbacher in motion towards the near sideline. McKay takes the snap, looking downfield, looking for Ginenbacher. Fires it, and it's dropped as Janutis was trying to catch the ball and tiptoe the sideline and couldn't do it. That was a wheel route to Ginenbacher, and boy, Kyle, I knew where the ball was going the whole time and who it was headed for, and I think the secondary from Peotone figured it out as well.
Yeah, no one really fooled there. Certainly Janutis was all over it, so nothing really doing there from Ginenbacher on the wheel route, and QND will regroup and try something that looks a little bit crisper, hopefully.
6 out of 13 for 61 yards, Joe McKay here in the first 12.5 minutes of play. Second and 10 QND from their own 37. Out of the spread, 3 receivers far side. Raiders run the option. McKay still has it. Now pitches it late to Anders, and he will spin into about 3 tacklers right at the 40-yard line. So pickup of 3, and it will be 3rd and 7 for QND. Actually, they mark it inside the 40-yard line, so it'll be closer to 3rd and about 8 for the Raiders.
Well, that time it looked like McKay wanted to get that ball to Anders quicker.
Right.
On that option, but no one really ever came to get him. Ziebert from his defensive end spot kind of got washed inside somehow, some way, and he didn't really have a threat there for a while. McKay didn't.
Raiders go trips to the far side, single receiver near side in the spread, sidecar right Anders. McKay rolls out towards the far side, has room. Now fires complete to Chappell for the first down at the Raider 49. Pickup of about 14, actually a pickup of about 10 for the Raiders, but they keep the drive alive with a connection to Jordan Chappell, his first catch of the game.
Yeah, nice looking play there and good help in the blocking there from Dale and Anders. We certainly talk about his running and big plays on the ground, certainly a lot, but that time really chipping in on the third down on the pass play and with his blocking to give McKay just a little bit extra time to find Chappell.
Josh Vincent was in hot pursuit of McKay. Didn't really affect the play any, but Anders went ahead and cut him anyway. 1st and 10 QND, the ball just on their side of the 50-yard line. Out of the I formation. Long count from Joe McKay. Turns, gives it to Anders. Right up the gut, hits the hole, lunges forward, and gets about 5 to the Peotone 45-yard line.
A little bit more zip there from Dale and Anders.
I think that's the play he hit for 90 against Coal City last week, Kyle.
Yeah, I think so. That time just right up the middle and almost got to that second level untouched. Someone just able to grab his ankle to bring him down, but that time a little bit more room for Anders to operate there on the inside.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5 QND. Ball in the middle of the field at the Peotone 45-yard line. Raiders lead at 10-7. I formation, receivers split to both sides. They give it to Ginnembacher. He keeps his balance and is able to lunge forward and only getting 1. He turns a gain of 1 into a gain of 3 by keeping his balance and lunging forward, and the Raiders already back at the line of scrimmage ready to go. Gain of 3, and out of the no huddle, Raiders go on 3rd and 2, pitch it to Anders. Anders looking for a hole, and he's tackled short of the 40, which is going to bring up 4th and inches for QND. Great play by Vincent again.
He's kind of been their the guy they look to for some big plays and forces a 4th down here. Raiders will go back to regular timing here, get back to a huddle, make sure they regroup and run this 4th down play properly.
4th and about half a yard for QND. Ball just inside the 41 of Peotone. The Raiders need to get it squarely on the 40 for the 1st down. Power I, Anders the deep back, double tight end. Quick count, give it to Ginnembacher. He's got the 1st down plus about 4. They throw Ginnembacher back, and they give him a gain of 3. Actually, a gain of 4 with the ball at the 41. So Ginnembacher keeps the drive alive for QND, picking up the 1st down.
It may not sound real fancy. It might sound pretty simple, but, Ginnembacher just real consistent in those short yardage situations because he keeps those shoulders squared, does not try to shift side to side, does not turn his shoulders towards the sideline, keeps those shoulders facing towards the end zone, and that's why he's so effective. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, that kind of situation. So that time, Ginnembacher, the go-to man there on the 4th and short play.
Raiders had less than 5 on the play clock. I think they were going to call 2 plays in the huddle again, and they burn a timeout before they get the penalty. We'll take a 30-second break. 10-7. QND leads Peotone. 8.5 minutes to go, 1st half. Back in 30 seconds on WTAD.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls. I'll confidentially ask you questions to help you make decisions about your life insurance, IRAs, long-term care insurance, investing, and estate planning. Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls.
10-7, QND leading Peotone. We have 8:34 left to go in the 2nd quarter, and ladies and gentlemen, Peotone has run 3 plays from the line of scrimmage, but they have a 90-yard kickoff return by Joey Janutis for their touchdown. I could probably, let me see if I can do it real quickly. 5, 7, 19, 33 plays from scrimmage for QND to 3 for Peotone.
Wow. Yeah, if you told me that was the play discrepancy, I'd guess the Raiders have a bigger than 3-point advantage. But, of course, if you only told me Janutis took one from 90 yards back, I'd probably guess we might be in trouble.
On 1st and 10, McKay has it on his hip and will be sacked for only the 3rd time this season as Josh Vincent again with the sack. And McKay just dropped back, Kyle, set his back foot, then took another step back, and Vincent just cleaned him up for a loss of about 8. Back to the 45-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and long for QND.
Yeah, that time Raiders doing some play action into the middle there, fake to Anders, and they were hoping to either Chappell or Welper on a deep pass on the outside, but Vincent didn't let McKay even have near the time he needed. Not sure that was a missed assignment completely. I didn't see what happened here on this left-hand side for QND, but Vincent getting to McKay almost right away.
Traditional I receiver split to both sides. McKay takes a snap, drops straight back to pass. They set up the screen to Anders, and he's got blockers in front. Anders inside the 40, inside the 30, inside the 20, knocked out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. Pickup of 29, and boy, a perfect time for that play, Kyle.
Yeah, that one real well executed. All the linemen there, that pass rush is kind of picked up coming after Joe McKay, so they try to slow it down with the screen pass, and it's kind of little things that can help set your teammates up. That time, McKay kind of just tosses it out in front of Anders so he can get his hips kind of situated and positioned to get upfield right when he caught that ball, and man, when he did, he had a lot of green to work with and had some nice blocks upfield to help pick up that first down.
They mark Anders inside the 15 rather than outside, so it's a gain of 31. First and 10, QND at the Peotone 14-yard line. McKay has it on a naked boot, throws it out to Ginenbacher, and it's just a little too far incomplete. And if Patrick Shipman is a little more aggressive, Kyle, he's got a pick.
Yeah, that one was that was pretty risky there. Ginenbacher coming from his fullback spot into the flat, I think was the intended target. Kind of went over his head, but man, to your point, if Shipman gets his hands on that, we might be at a deficit. The Blue Devils have only run 3 plays.
The thing about it was there was a receiver deep as well as you described it, so Shipman stayed with him rather than coming up on Ginenbacher. Out of the eye on 2nd and 10 from the Peotone 14, handoff to Anders. Not much room to run. He bounces out the tackle, keeps his feet going, and picks up about 4 when there was really no gain on the play. Let's see where they finally mark Dalen Anders. With the glare of the sun, it's tough to tell where they're.
Yeah, it is.
They're going to spot the ball at the 9, so pick up a 5 for Dalen Anders. Brings up 3rd and 5 for QND. And I'll give Peotone this, Kyle. Once the Raiders have gotten inside the 20, the Raiders have had to work for everything they can get just to get near the goal line.
Well, we talked about it last week, too, against Cole City. I mean, good tackling.
Yeah.
Another set of good tackling here from Peotone. I know that time Anders was able to chip off and get a couple extra, but all in all, real good tackling from the Blue Devils.
Raiders come out in the eye, 2 receivers to the far side. McKay will look to throw, throws off his back foot, and it's incomplete only because Jordan Chappell gave Joey Janutis enough of a shove that Janutis couldn't hang on to the ball as he was going towards the ground. And McKay was under immediate pressure as Peotone came with the blitz, and McKay threw off his back foot and got lucky again.
Yeah, he did. McKay comes into today's ball game with 22 touchdowns and just 4 picks, but those were 2 just in the last couple plays there that Blue Devils could have got their hands on and come away with an interception. Credit Chappell there for knocking that one away. That was a real big play to prevent the turnover.
Zach Velia with a 31-yard field goal attempt, and it's no good, and a flag is down. What do we have here? Personal foul. Roughing the kicker on Peotone.
Wow.
So Peotone has run into the punter, and they've roughed the kicker.
And I didn't see that one either. I'm sitting there trying to stare through the sun to see if that ball was good. I don't even know why I'd bothered because I can never tell anyway. But
I was following the flight of the ball, and
yeah.
I was like you. That was close enough to the upright that you weren't sure. So that's an automatic first down. And that's called by the referee, who's right next to the kicker.
All right.
So an automatic first down on roughing the kicker. Puts the ball, at the 4-yard line? I believe so, yeah.
4 and 5.
Half the distance to the goal. So 1st and goal QND. Boy, the Raiders need to take advantage of that break. Raiders come out power I, ball on the left hash. 1st and goal QND from the Peotone 4-yard line. McKay under his center. Sends Ginenbacher in motion towards the near sideline. Still under center McKay. Turns, gives it to Anders right up the gut. Stutters, pushes, and they shove Anders back as he picks up about 2. Maybe 3. It's tough to tell. I think they mark him at the 1. We'll give Anders a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and goal QND at the Peotone 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 6.5 minutes to go first half. QND leading 10-7, and still Peotone has run 3 plays from scrimmage. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders, this half has really gone the Raiders' way here. You really do need to come up with a more comfortable lead than just this 3 points and take that lead into halftime.
Out of the power I, Anders to deep back. 2nd and goal. Raiders give it to Ginenbacher. He pushes, he shoves, and he scores. Never was brought down was Brady Ginenbacher, and the Raiders have a 9-point lead midway through the second quarter. It's 16-7.
Fans get to their feet and appreciation there. The QND offense, I mean, you mentioned before, just having to scrape and claw for every inch you get there as the Peotone Blue Devils really clamp down inside the red zone, and Raiders back on the board.
Extra point attempt is blocked
By Janudis.
by Joey Janudis.
How many number 24s they have out there? I mean, this guy's just flying around everywhere.
So the Raiders get the break on the roughing the kicker on the attempted field goal that was missed by Bailey. Raiders take advantage, score a touchdown, but then Janudis blocks the extra point attempt. 16-7, QND leads, 6:05 left to go first half, back in 30 seconds on WTAD.
What's a podiatrist? A foot doctor. A foot doctor? I didn't know there was such a thing. There is. 25 years ago, I started out with a business plan and a dream. I went to 3 area banks. First Bankers Trust, said it was great, and they asked me if I wanted more money than what I was asking for. And that was the start of my relationship with First Bankers Trust. My dreams have come true.
First Bankers Trust, your bank of dreams.
Well, the winner of this game, which QND is leading Peotone 16-7, will take on Rock Island Alleman, who defeats Muhammad Seymour 35-20. That was a closer game than I thought.
You're more talented. I had to take my headset off to hear that. You're more talented than I am. No surprise there, but yeah, nice job. Nice season from Muhammad Seymour Bulldogs. 8-1, I believe, in the Corn Belt.
Yes, they were.
Won a 9th game in the first week of playoffs. And
defeated Mantino, which got blown out here by Peotone. 6:05 left to go. Second quarter, it's 16-7, QND leading. And the best offensive play is about to unfold for Peotone, their kickoff return unit. Here's a bounding kick that will be taken by Janitas at his own 5, and look out now. Janitas heads to the far sideline, cuts it inside, gets hit, still going. Almost runs for tackle, then loses the ball. And I think Peotone jumped on it at their own 30-yard line. Not only did that ball get fumbled, it got batted forward to get 5 yards.
Flew forward.
And Peotone does recover. So Janudis got hemmed in, and Coach Cannell told me, Kyle, that Joey Janudis somehow finds a way to run into messes like that, come out golden, and if not score, get a long return.
Yeah, we all have our own styles, I suppose, and that time the Raiders able to keep him bottled up when he does find that mess, as Coach Cannell describes it. Blue Devils out there on their 4th offensive play, and they'll do so out of the no huddle.
From their own 30, Peotone has it on their left hash. 1st and 10. Sidecar right in the spread. They bring Borden tight to the line of scrimmage. Now bring the other receiver in motion. They fake one sweep, give it off, and here goes the running back for Peotone for a gain of 17.
Bobby Rapson.
I thought it was, you're right, that was 31, not 11. I thought it was 11 when he took the handoff. Rapson picks up a quick 17, Kyle. 18 yards. And the first down of the game for Peotone, an 18-yard carry by Bobby Rapson.
They kind of faked a jet sweep and hit Rapson going back the other way, kind of on a counter play, and man, he got right to that second level untouched.
From their own 48 on the left hash, 1st and 10 at Peotone. Give it inside, it's Rapson again. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage and fights and claws his way back to the line of scrimmage as the Raiders had much better contain here on the weak side.
It looked like Schutte was one of the first guys that hit him, and then Brady Ginenbacher able to get into his legs and pick his legs up off the ground. So you see Rapson's kind of, both of his feet kind of flying through the air as Ginenbacher has a hold of him, making the sure tackle.
Loss of a foot brings up 2nd and 11 for Peotone between the 47 and 48-yard lines. All the Peotone offensive players are wearing wristbands, so Brandon Wenzel, the quarterback, just yells out a number, I would imagine, and they check the play. On 2nd and 11, Wenzel gives it off to Ransom. Rapson has a hole, and then he's smoked by Brady Ginenbacher at the QND 45. Rapson falls forward to the 44. That's a pickup of 9, brings up 3rd and 2 for Peotone.
That time again, Rapson really able to break through, that QND defensive line really untouched. I mean, Ginenbacher does a nice tackle, but man, he's 7 yards downfield before anyone is able to lay a finger on him. So, you really want to see QND probably, disrupt plays more consistently along the line of scrimmage.
16-7, QND leads. Peotone has it 3rd and 2 from the Raider 44-yard line. Power formation here out of the wishbone. Wenzel takes, pitches it wide to Janudis. Janudis trying to turn the corner, stumbles, and then gets stopped by Brady Ginenbacher. No, that's Jordan Chappell coming up from the safety position to stuff Janudis. No gain on the play, brings up 4th and 2. Actually, a loss on the play of a foot. Brings up 4th and about 2.5, close to 3 for Peotone.
Well, kind of the student body right type of play there, and do credit Brady Ginnebacher for causing Janutis to kind of have to bubble that one back out and you kind of run away from line of scrimmage for a couple steps and giving Chapel the chance to run the alley and come up with a nice tackle for a short loss.
Peotone on 4th and 3 have yet to call the play in the huddle, and they have 8 seconds on the play clock. They may have to burn another timeout, and they will. 3:33 now left to go in the first half. QND leading 16-7, and Peotone burns their second timeout. QND has used 2 timeouts as well. 4th and 3 coming up for Peotone from the Raider 45-yard line.
Interesting 4th down call here for Peotone. Certainly 4-down territory, but they tried that a quick pass on their last 3rd down, their only other possession of the game. In a similar situation, they tried that kind of a quick pass out to the left-hand side, and Zach Bailey was up to the task to get a tackle for loss.
3:33 left to go, first half. QND leading 16-7. And Peotone just burned their second timeout. We'll see what they want to do here on 4th and about 2.5 to 3 yards.
If they did decide, it's almost, they'd almost be punting with the wind here if they decided to. This wind kind of still making up its mind throughout the game.
Out of the wishbone, 4th and about 3 for Peotone from the Raider 45-yard line. Wenzel under center, turns, gives it to Bobby Rapson, and he's got the first down by about a yard. Ooh, they gave it to him by a foot. He needed 3, Kyle, and he got about 3.5. Barely made it to the first down marker. Where I'm standing, it's a first down. The officials rarely looking it over, and now they're going to measure. I think he's got it by about the length of the football.
Yeah, it looks like he's he's past the 42 or slightly past the 42. The marker is on the 43-yard side of that 42-yard line. So, I think he's got it by a football.
Matt Horvath got down in the catcher's crouch, staring across from the near sideline to the far sideline to see what he could tell. And, well, it was by 3/4 of the football, but it's a first down for Peotone, their second of the ballgame.
Kind of a, somewhat gutsy play call. Really conservative play call on 4th and 3, really just going between the guard and tackle.
That's what they should have run on 3rd down, not on 4th.
All right.
1st and 10, Peotone from the Raider 42-yard line. QND leading 16-7. Wenzel gets the play from the sideline. Right now they're in the spread 2-by-2 the receivers. With a wing to the far side. In the pistol, they bring Janutis in motion and hand it to Janutis on a jet sweep. Gets the corner turned, and a flag is down, and you're signifying holding, right?
Yeah, I was thinking there'd be a block in the back. We'll see if that's what they got, but while they figure that out, credit Jordan Chappell. Just flying from his safety position to bring Janutis down for the short gain. That is some aggressive, solid defensive back play there from Chappell.
Gain of 3 on the play to the Raider 40. And it's a block in the back on Peotone. With the flag at the 44. So if that's a spot foul, that's going to bring up 1st and about 22.
I couldn't tell who was on that side. It might have been Frieden on that far side from his linebacker spot, doing a nice job of reading it, and then trying to cut up field, and the receiver having no other choice but to try to block him in the back and hope he gets away with it. Didn't happen that way for the Blue Devils.
1st and 22 from the Peotone 46-yard line for the Blue Devils. Out of the spread. Wenzel takes the snap. Looking, fires, and it's behind the receiver, incomplete. Hit his forearm, his back forearm, and popped in the air, but no Raider could get close to it. Pass intended for Andrew Margansky.
Yeah, and I know they haven't caught many, but you can almost say that was almost a break there for the Blue Devils. The way that ball popped up in the air, you're kind of hoping as a Raider fan, possibly Chappell or Ginnebacher might be able to grab that ball in stride, but no one near it there for Margansky, so it'll be 2nd and very long for the Blue Devils.
2nd and 22 from their own 46 for Peotone. I would imagine Rapson will get the ball here. 2-by-2 the receivers out of the pistol. Ball on the left hash. Wenzel calling out the signals, takes the snap, looking to throw. Still looking, fires over the middle, and it's complete to Margansky. No, they're saying he dropped it incomplete. Saying it went through the bucket and hit the ground. So 3rd and 22 coming up for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, tough from this angle. I thought he caught it as well, but the official that comes from the inside, from the middle of the field there, had a obviously much clearer view of it. Incomplete. Not much argument there from the Blue Devils, and third and very long again.
3rd and 22 for Peotone from their own 46. They have 3 receivers near side, single receiver far side out of the pistol. And they fake and roll out. Here's the Wenzel hit as he throws, and it's incomplete, trying to hit his receiver, Brandon Gordon. That was a long, slow developing play, and backside pursuit by QND's backside defensive end, Matt Horvath, along with Luke Frieden. They hit Wenzel just as he threw the pass, so backed up 1st and 22, Kyle. Peotone throws the ball 3 times.
Yeah, really trying to, gain all those yards back through the air. A little bit surprising. That time, Wenzel tried pump faking left, then rolling back a long ways to his right to give his receivers time to get downfield. Luke Frieden never slowed down and knocked it out of Wenzel's hands when he tried to throw it.
Rugby kick from Bobby Ratsom, and it's going to come out of bounds here at about the 38-yard line. And the referee is directing the linesman. I've never seen that. Yeah. Usually the linesman, I guess when there's only 5 instead of 8, it's tougher. But the referee was directing the near side linesman on when to stop, and he stops at the Raider 40, so that's only a 14-yard punt.
Yeah, again, the Raiders are going to take over with great field position.
240
all day long.
Sorry, Kyle. 2:41 left to go, first half, and the Raiders have 1 timeout left. Start this possession at their own 40 on the left hash. 16-7 QND leads. Out of the spread, 3 receivers near side, single receiver far side, Barry Welper, Anders side, Carr left. McKay takes the snap, fakes the inside give, or actually does give it to Anders, and Anders is wrapped up at the line of scrimmage, and a flag flies in by that near side linesman. So somebody lined up in the neutral zone. False start on QND, or illegal procedure on the Raiders. 4th penalty on QND, 4 penalties on Peotone, but boy, have Peotone's penalties been at bad times.
Oh, you bet they have. The game really could be a lot closer if they haven't. It could even be in Blue Devils' advantage here
right.
If some of those penalties hadn't shaken out with roughing into the punter, a face mask penalty on 4th down, and then later a running into the kicker. So
we've had a running into the punter, we've had a roughing the kicker, and we had a face mask penalty. All those penalties occurring on 4th down.
Yeah.
Declining the penalty, Peotone. Anders gets a 1-yard gain. It's 2nd and 9 QND from their own 41. McKay takes the snap. They fake the crossbuck play, want to set up a screen, and it's picked off. No, who's got it? I think Ginnenbacher's going to end up with it.
Wow.
Ginnenbacher stole it away from the defender.
Nice play.
Stole it away from Ziebert. Ginnenbacher loses 4 on the play, but he keeps the ball in the Raiders' possession.
You won't see many catches for a negative yards that were a better play than we just saw from Brady Ginnenbacher. That was all Ziebert's possession. That was all Ziebert ready to go the other way and get an interception, and Ginnenbacher just wrestles it away from him. Wasn't even the intended receiver. They were trying to go to Dalen Anders on a screen.
And now a quick pass that's incomplete. The Raiders were not set. The receivers weren't set over on the far side. And I would think that's a dead ball foul. So even if Ginnenbacher and McKay, who are not on the same page, even if they were on the same page and had a big gain, that would be coming back. But I believe Peotone will decline the penalty because it's not a dead ball foul. It brings up 4th and long, and the QND Raiders will have to punt it away.
Yeah, that was kind of bad-looking play there from the beginning. Joe McKay saw Ginnenbacher, and really no one lined up on him, I think is what he was trying to be in such a hurry for, and trying to get Ginnenbacher the ball before the Blue Devils figured that out. His team wasn't set. Ginnenbacher wasn't thinking the same way either.
Snap back is slow but true, and the kick is high and short. And Janutis will call a fair catch at his own 35-yard line. So 93 seconds left, first half. QND leads Peotone 16-7. And Peotone will take over at their own 35, and the Blue Devils have 1 timeout left.
Some more good defense there from the Blue Devils. Really credit them for, keeping this game as close as it has been, as many things have gone against them. That time, again, the Raiders take over with more great field position and nothing doing for QND offensively.
Providence New Lenox leads Quincy 31-13 over at Flynn Stadium. That's a Chicago Catholic League team, folks. And don't let the record fool you at 6-4 coming into the game. Wenzel looks to the far sideline. He has the Blue Devils lined up in the spread here. Slot near side, 2 receivers outside the wing, I should say. Now Wenzel signals he wants to snap from his center, Nick Kovar. Inside give to Bobby Ratson. He gets stuck and loses a couple of yards, maybe 3. Matt Horvath in on the play. And Ratson loses. Whoa. Wow, they only gave that a loss of 1. That was a kind spot for the Blue Devils. So a loss of 1 brings up 2nd and 11 for Peotone. Clock running, 68 seconds left to go, first half. 2-by-2 the receivers out of the spread. Sidecar left is Bobby Ratson. Wenzel takes the snap, looking far side the whole way, chucks it out, and it's complete to his receiver, who's being wrestled with by Jordan Obert. And then he's finally put to the ground. Obert joined by Chappell. It's a positive game, though, about 7 or 8 yards. And it's going to bring up 3rd and short for Peotone. Gain of 7 on the play. Only the 2nd completion of the game for Brandon Wenzel. On 3rd and 3, Wenzel takes the snap, rolls near side. Looking, fires, and it's knocked down by Barry Welper, who waited patiently for the ball to get to the receiver and then knocked it down.
Well, certainly that, with the Blue Devils' offensive philosophy, the 2-minute drill type of stuff isn't exactly their forte, so I was wondering exactly how they'd manage that possession as time winds down in the second half. They continue to throw downfield, and Barry Welper almost really made him pay.
And now Peotone will call their final timeout of the first half, I believe. They do. 28 seconds left to go in the first half. QND leading 16-7. Peotone looking at a 4th and 3 from their own 42-yard line. And I would think they're going to punt it regardless, wouldn't you, Kyle?
Yeah, I think they'd go ahead and punt it. You figure even if you do fake it and you pick up, or even if you go for it, whether it's a regular play or a fake punt, and you pick up a handful of yards, you don't have a ton of options. You don't really have the passing game to get a quick strike score. So I think they'll probably punt. This is a good opportunity for Chappell in this punt return game to see if they can get QND great field position just one more time in this first half and get the 2-minute unit back out on the field for QND to try to extend this lead.
Peotone's run 14 plays in this half, Kyle.
And one thing we'll talk about here in halftime too. I mean, they've done more often than not without Jake Rapson. Bobby Rapson has been the tailback for most of these snaps. We'll have to keep an eye on the return of number 7, Jake Rapson, who is their leading gainer on the ground. We've not seen much of him. We've instead seen his brother.
4th and 3, and Peotone is going for it. Wenzel takes the snap, looking far side, pitches it out, has his receiver, has the first down and more inside Raider territory. Knocked down at the Raider 47. So Peotone goes for it on 4th and 3 and picks up 12 yards.
Credit Jordan over there with a nice tackle. Slow that down. Chappell also in on the tackle.
Brandon Borden picking up the first down on the reception. And now Wenzel spikes the ball with 19 seconds left in this first half. So it's 2nd and 10. Peotone from the Raider 47. QND leading 16-7. Borden with a 12-yard reception on 4th and 3. Peotone gets the ball to start the second half. They have it here with 19 seconds left first half. Wenzel in the spread, takes the snap, looking right, fires, and it's caught by the receiver at the 41. Making the catch is Margansky. It's a gain of 6 with the clock moving and Peotone out of timeouts. So this will be the last play of the half. They spike it, and it's going to be 4th down with 2 seconds left. Interesting.
Well, nice job there to give him one more chance. You kind of got a couple different options here. If Wenzel decides to throw a Hail Mary, he's certainly got the speed of Joey Janudis, who's the big play receiver.
I know what I would do, but I don't know if they have it in their playbook.
Well, you've also got the height of 6'4" Trevor Ziebert,
who just lined up off sides. I'm not sure he ever got back. Wenzel on 4th and 2, or 4th and 3 to end the first half, throws a duck, and it will be caught or dropped out of bounds by Zach Bailey on the final play of the half. And now they're blowing the whistle, and the referee is calling people back to the sideline, and I'm not sure why. I don't see a flag down.
down.
Oh, he had to wait to see. The far side linesman threw the flag, Kyle, just inside the playing field in front of Peotone's bench, so the only people who knew about it were the Peotone players and that official. So the QND Raiders lead it at the half, 16-7.
Natalie Stratton of Advanced Physical Therapy talks from the heart about building relationships with her patients.
We do develop relationships with people, and by doing that, they can trust you because they build that rapport with you so they can trust you, and they start to tell you more, and so you learn more about their medical condition or just their life condition, and so it does allow you to, direct them in different ways. And you're seeing some people 2 or 3 times a week, for that half hour to an hour of that one-on-one time. Plus, we love it. I mean, that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm in the profession. I like those relationships with people. I see that as a success in treatment. If I can get people to trust me and trust what I'm saying, they're going to buy into what I'm saying. That's why, again, I try to go and do everything I can, new techniques or new ways or different approaches to getting people better. And the more I do that, then again, you can kind of take people to that next level.
Advanced Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. On the web at advancept.net. Advance through life with Advance.
What's a podiatrist? A foot doctor. A foot doctor? I didn't know there was such a thing. There is. 25 years ago, I started out with a business plan and a dream. I went to 3 area banks. First Bankers Trust said it was great, and they asked me if I wanted more money than what I was asking for. But that was the start of my relationship with First Bankers Trust. My dreams have come true.
First Bankers Trust, your bank of dreams.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls. I'll confidentially ask you questions to help you make decisions about your life insurance, IRAs, long-term care insurance, investing and estate planning. Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls.
Everyone has a story. This story is about Sandra. She's a teacher and she suffered from migraine tension headaches daily. Determined not to rely on drugs for relief, she turned to Advanced Physical Therapy for help. What can you learn from Sandra and her treatment at Advance? In the words of physical therapist Natalie Stratton.
A lot of times people are told that physical therapy won't do anything for migraines. There's so many different causes of migraines. There's different things that we can do that definitely help alleviate a lot of that pain, an alternative to maybe what you tried so far. The other thing, I know a lot of times people are like, I've tried everything, but I guess I would ask you, have you tried physical therapy? Have you tried, a different type of physical therapy? Because that is worth looking into because it may help you.
If you're dealing with frequent migraine tension headaches and think you're stuck, think again. Advanced Physical Therapy has helped many people say,
I didn't know I could feel this good again.
Advanced Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine on the web at advancedpt.net. Advance through life with Advance.
What's a podiatrist? A foot doctor. A foot doctor? I didn't know there was such a thing. There is. 25 years ago, I started out with a business plan and a dream. I went to 3 area banks. First Bankers Trust said it was great, and they asked me if I wanted more money than what I was asking for. But that was the start of my relationship with First Bankers Trust. My dreams have come true.
First Bankers Trust, your bank of dreams.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls. I'll confidentially ask you questions to help you make decisions about your life insurance, IRAs, long-term care insurance, investing and estate planning. Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls.
Natalie Stratton of Advanced Physical Therapy talked from the heart about building relationships with her patients.
We do develop relationships with people, and by doing that, they can trust you because they build that rapport with you so they can trust you, and they start to tell you more, and so you learn more about their medical condition or just their life condition, and so it does allow you to, direct them in different ways. You're seeing some people 2 or 3 times a week, for that half hour to an hour of that one-on-one time. Plus, we love it. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm in the profession. I like those relationships with people. I see that as a success in treatment. If I can get people to trust me and trust what I'm saying, they're going to buy into what I'm saying. That's why, again, I try to go and do everything I can, new techniques or new ways or different approaches to getting people better. And the more I do that, then, again, you can kind of take people to that next level.
Advanced Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. On the web at advancept.net. Advance through life with Advance.
What's a podiatrist? A foot doctor. A foot doctor? I didn't know there was such a thing. There is. 25 years ago, I started out with a business plan and a dream. I went to 3 area banks. First Bankers Trust, said it was great, and they asked me if I wanted more money than what I was asking for. And that was the start of my relationship with First Bankers Trust. My dreams have come true.
First Bankers Trust, your bank of dreams.
Loud in the press box, and he was of the opinion that if Maroa Forsyth did drop down to 1A, they should just hand them the trophy at that point. So, that doesn't mean Camp Point Central can't either host or go over to Maroa and win the game. It's not like the game is signed, sealed, and delivered that Maroa Forsyth's going to win. So that'll be interesting to see how the Panthers do if they do indeed play Maroa Forsyth.
Well, they might have something to say about handing the trophy to Maroa Forsyth, and hopefully they'll have quite a bit to say and can come out with a big win. It's certainly, they're kind of they're pushing for that nice long playoff run, and a lot of people think this could be that year.
Well, the goal is to spend Thanksgiving weekend this year in DeKalb, Illinois.
You talk about it every year. Wouldn't that be fun? What better way to spend
it would
Thanksgiving in DeKalb?
It would
be fun.
Send us in a scrambling mode at the radio station because it's hard for me to be in 2 places at once unless QND would play an early game. Except I believe 4A, the championship game, is always at 7 o'clock at night. So
nice and warm.
Yep. Yeah, and it's been the last couple years in Champaign. That 7 o'clock Friday night game has not been for the shy. That's for sure when it comes to weather.
Yeah, bring a hat.
Well, both teams are back on the field, and we'll have a 3-minute warm-up period, and then we will get ready here for the second half. And it's interesting, Kyle, one of the Peotone coaches walking side by side with the referee, and I'm sure the folks from Peotone having a discussion about the penalties they've incurred on 4th down plays that have allowed the Raiders to kind of keep drives alive and get points on the board. 16-7, QND leads Peotone at the half. Back in 2 minutes with the second half here on WTAD.
Hi,
Natalie Stratton of Advanced Physical Therapy talked from the heart about building relationships with her patients.
We do develop relationships with people, and by doing that, they can trust you because they build that rapport with you so they can trust you, and they start to tell you more, and so you learn more about their medical condition or just their life condition, and so it does allow you to, direct them in different ways. You're seeing some people 2 or 3 times a week, for that half hour to an hour of that one-on-one time. Plus, we love it. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm in the profession. I like those relationships with people. I see that as a success in treatment. If I can get people to trust me and trust what I'm saying, they're going to buy into what I'm saying. That's why, again, I try to go and do everything I can, new techniques or new ways or different approaches to getting people better. And the more I do that, then, again, you can kind of take people to that next level.
Advanced Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. On the web at advancept.net. Advance through life with Advance.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls. I'll confidentially ask you questions to help you make decisions about your life insurance, IRAs, long-term care insurance, investing, and estate planning. Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls.
What's a podiatrist? A foot doctor. A foot doctor? I didn't know there was such a thing. There is. 25 years ago, I started out with a business plan and a dream. I went to 3 area banks. First Bankers Trust said it was great, and they asked me if I wanted more money than what I was asking for. But that was the start of my relationship with First Bankers Trust. My dreams have come true.
First Bankers Trust, your bank of dreams.
For a second round game, the winner of this game will play Rock Island Alleman, as the Pioneers defeated Mahomet Seymour today in Mahomet by the score of 35-20. And Bob Goff has already looked it up. Augustana on the road next week, so plenty of options for Alleman to schedule a time to play either one of these opponents. But there's a lifetime left in this game. Not sure who Alleman's opponent will be in the third round. Or, if you will, the quadrant championship game.
The quadrant title. All on the line at Augustana next week.
Peotone will get the ball to start the second half. And even though the sun is about, 20 minutes from setting, Kyle, wind's still pretty fresh, and it's still variable. It's interesting, you look at the American flag on top of the pole, and it's still blowing pretty good, but the Peotone flags attached to the bleachers on the far side, not moving a whole heck of a lot.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I pay attention to
all
weather.
10 of them. All 10 of them out there.
That's
the
right.
Blue, white, the black.
Again, Peotone white on white here on the road. White jerseys, white pants, blue numbers with black trim, and blue helmets with the Blue Devil logo on each side. QND blue on blue. Blue jerseys, blue pants, white numbers, gold trim, and of course, golden domes. 16-7, QND leads at the half. QND 24 minutes away from a third round game. Peotone the same. And the dangerous Joey Janutis, who has the only Peotone touchdown on a 90-yard kickoff return, awaits near the north end zone, excuse me. Here's Zeke Little's kick, and he tries to place it away from Janutis, and he's able to get it to Margansky at about the 5-yard line. Andrew Margansky takes a look, bounces it to the outside, now cuts it back and slips, and is tackled at about the 27-yard line. So good coverage. Oh, what do you know? Parker Kinsel on a kick return. On kickoff cover, I should say, makes the tackle. It helped that Margansky slipped, and it will be 1st and 10 Peotone inside their own 30 at about the 27-yard line.
Well, good job there by Kinsel, Kinsel and his fellow kickoff teammates there to keep the Blue Devils inside their own 30 and make them march quite a long distance here to try to get back on the board. QND's had some nice field position all day long here and not returning the favor to the Blue Devils.
Still no sign of Jake Rapson. He carried the ball once in the first half for 2 yards and hasn't been seen since. Trips to the near side, sidecar left for Peotone on 1st and 10. Inside give to Bobby Rapson. He slips a tackle, turns the corner, running hard, and will get about 5 yards to around the 32-yard line.
Time able to cut inside Barry Welper, trying to provide some run support from his cornerback position, and nice kind of shuffle step there from Bobby Rapson to cut back inside him.
Bobby Rapson with 38 yards on 7 carries.
Doing a nice job. You know, certainly he's asked to carry the load here today with his brother out, with his brother Jake out, but and doing a real nice job. You know, it doesn't look anyway that the Blue Devils are really missing much of a beat with Bobby back there as the feature back.
Wing to the near side, 2 receivers outside the wing. Sidecar left is Bobby Rapson. Wenzel takes the snap, gives it to Rapson. Same play, turns the corner, but he's hit at the point of attack and is able to push the ball forward to about the 34. Brings up 3rd and about 3 for Peotone, and Rapson tried to run that same play, Kyle, and this time when he got to the corner, he was met by a QND defender.
Yeah, it looked like Luke Frieden was the first one to get him, and Frieden there ended up holding on to his legs, around his ankles, and pursuit didn't come quite quick enough there that allowed Rapson to reach out with that football and make that a positive play.
From their own 34, Peotone needs to get to the 37 for a first down. Out of the pistol. Inside give to Rapson, coming the other corner. He's got the first down and more, and his lunges to about the 40-yard line. You can see the crease develop, Kyle, and Rapson hit that crease and then lunged forward to the 40-yard line. Gain of 5, 1st and 10, Peotone.
Yeah, it looked like he had a couple of linemen pulling out to their left, kind of leading the way, and it was just one big pile of Peotone Blue Devil players there to try to bring down.
Kyle, Coach Cannell told me if I saw 83 Ziebert and 77 Marevka lined up next to each other, They were going to go left 80% of the time. They're lined up on this side of the line of scrimmage. They fake this way, go opposite with Wenzel. Flag flies. Wenzel's got 10. He's got 15. He's going to take it near the end zone, but there's a flag down as Wenzel's tackled at the QND 5-yard line. Let's see if this is coming back.
You've got to imagine, just based on the timing and location of the flag, it's typically an offensive penalty.
Yep.
While they figure that out, let's credit Zach Bailey with the tremendous hustle there. It looked like Wenzel was going to the end zone and going to score easily. Bailey from the cornerback position on the far side ran him down all the way across the field and brought down Wenzel at about the 5-yard line. So flag or not, play stands or not, terrific hustle by Bailey.
So Brandon Wenzel ran that ball, Kyle, 55 yards. And they're calling a chop block on Peotone. And that basically means, folks, that one of the defensive players for QND was engaged with an offensive lineman and another lineman blocked low, and that's illegal. So we've had some interesting calls to go against Peotone here today, have we not, sir?
This time they shoot themselves a foot on the offensive side of the ball. You know, we've seen it on special teams twice, and we saw it defensively, and now they do it to themselves offensively with a big penalty. By far their biggest play of the game offensively.
And how can they're marking this penalty off from the 45, which is 5 yards downfield. How do you have a chop block 5 yards downfield is what I want to know. So that's got to be from the, oh, I see, there was another flag and it was a personal foul? I'm being told yes. So what do we have here, offsetting penalties? Well, here's the chop block. Then dead ball, personal foul on QND. So they'll walk off the 10-yard penalty on Peotone and then walk off the penalty on QND. So actually this umpire, Kyle, is going to walk 15 yards, set the ball down, then pick the ball up, walk 15 yards right back to the original line of scrimmage. So it's going to be a wash, and it's going to be 1st and 10 Peotone again from the 40-yard line, their own 40. That was fun.
So all that just to what ends up to be a do-over, which the Raiders will take a do-over on that one, seeing as Wenzel took it to the 5-yard line.
Besides staring into the sun, I was kind of blocked out, Kyle. I saw the flag fly, so I wasn't really concerned where Wenzel was going to end up. But apparently one of the QND players drew a personal foul. What? At least 15 yards behind the play. At least 15, if not 20.
And I'm no more helpful because I didn't see the chop block or the personal foul.
Raiders a little confused on defense. Jimmy K started out of the game, stays in. 1st and 10 Peotone from their own 40. And what do we have? False start on Peotone. Well, the oddness of this game continues. 5-yard penalty brings up 1st and 15 for Peotone from their own 35-yard line.
They're back up the line here. QND doing some subbing then to figure this out here.
Raiders going 4-4 here on 1st and 15. Clock not running this time. 9.5 minutes to go, third quarter. First possession of the second half. Wenzel sets up the screen to the far side. It's complete to Borden. Slips past one defender. Now running hard. Picks up about 7 or 8. Good and the Peotone sideline screaming for a face mask, and I'm not sure they got it. I don't see any laundry on the field.
Okay.
8-yard pickup on the screen to Borden. So it will be 2nd and 7 for Peotone from their own 43-yard line.
Gennenbacher just inches away from being able to knock that one down. And Logan, good play call there from Blue Devils, too, as Logan Schutte came on a blitz, got through there real clean, but took himself out of the play, and then when Wenzel was able to get rid of it.
On 2nd and 7 from their own 43. Inside give to Rapson. Bobby Rapson has a hole, runs through a tackle. It's the first down inside Raider territory to about the 47. That's a gain of 10 yards for Bobby Rapson.
Peotone really showing some rhythm here offensively.
Yep.
You know, showing a lot of zip here. They're really up in the tempo here at the no huddle.
Wenzel takes the snap. Inside give to Janutis. Janutis trying to turn the corner. And he'll be knocked down at about the Raider 39 for a gain, at about the 45 or 44. Gain of 3 on the play for Janutis. Wasn't exactly a jet sweep, Kyle, as Janutis was lined up in the sidecar position.
Well, and credit Jordan Obert again from his cornerback position. Some cornerbacks will be just kind of content to set the edge and force the guy inside, not really be a factor in the play as long as he doesn't get all the way out to the outside. That time Obert gets past him and brings down Janudis.
On 2nd and 7 from the QND 44. A little bit of a high snap. They give it to Bobby Rapson. He's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Lunges forward, so he'll only lose about 2. Jake Ballkamp in on the play. Tyler Marcus as well. It looked like a couple of linebackers for QND joined the fray.
Well, and credit Marcus. I think it was Marcus and or Logan Schutte there that really made the play that blew up one of the Peotone Blue Devil offensive linemen. And kind of Rapson just kind of took the hand off and fell onto this pile where then the other Raider tacklers could get to him. So kind of Schutte and Marcus getting off the bottom of that pile really were the playmakers there, even though they weren't the ones that made the tackle.
Loss of 2 brings up 3rd and 9 for Peotone from the Raider 47-yard line. Wenzel takes the snap. Under pressure. Throws it over the middle. It's dropped. And a flag flies. Near side linesman threw the flag. Janudis and Obert with a receiver D-back combination here on the near sideline. So I wonder if they're going to call Jordan Obert for a hold here.
They're going to take their time and talk
fans
through
fall
it.
deathly silent on both sides, waiting to see what inventive call we have now.
The most interesting conversation of all time taking place.
Ineligible receiver or illegal touching on Peotone. They have broken out the rule book here this afternoon, have they not?
And you know your referee signals. I'm impressed. I'm not surprised, mind you. I'm impressed.
Illegal touching. So how does Margansky line up outside, come inside? I guess he wasn't on the line of scrimmage, or maybe he was on the line of scrimmage, but he wasn't covered up, so it's illegal touching?
I'm not sure where he lined up.
Interesting, the Raiders take the penalty.
Down.
Oh, it is loss of
down
down.
Play.
Oh, okay. There you go. So 5-yard walk-off and loss of down because it was an incomplete pass. So now it's 4th and 13. Ball now at the Peotone 49, and Bobby Rapson will punt it away. Snap is over his head, and he has to go back and get it, but he has room to try and get a punt away, which he does, and shanks it towards the far side. It rolls forward. It will actually be a forward punt of about 7 yards. And I thought for sure, Kyle, that Barry Welper was going to get too close to that ball over on the far sideline, but it didn't bounce into his shins. It bounced away from him. So about an 8-yard punt for Bobby Rapson, but he did well just to do that for Peotone.
Well, I was hoping Welper would even I thought Welper was going to try to catch it there at first. I mean, no one on that side of the field. You know, Welper, we've seen him be real aggressive on, like, fumble recoveries and certainly interception returns as well. I thought he was going to make a last-minute burst to try to catch that punt and go on touch down the sideline, but
out of the eye from their own 45. QND starts this drive on the left hash, 1st and 10. McKay turns, gives it to Dale Anders. Stutters, looks for a hole, and there's nothing there. No gain on the play. Well, they're going to give him a gain of about a foot. It's going to be 2nd and virtually 10 for QND. And Kyle, Coach Cannell told me that Peotone asked for 2 takes. Last week's game against Coal City and the Illini West game. And I immediately said to Coach, so basically wherever Anders goes, that's where Peotone's going to go.
That I obviously they didn't know any different. They're only looking at scores, but that probably wasn't the one that illustrated all the different things that Raiders like to do. Is Joe McKay, I think, only threw 4 or 5 times in that ball game. The Raiders relied solely on the power eye.
Out of the eye on 2nd and virtually 9. McKay waits for the receiver to clear, and it's knocked down and almost intercepted by Andrew Margansky. Tried to hit Welper on a slant route, Kyle. Skinny post, if you will. Welper had it in his hands, couldn't bring it in, and then Margansky almost went over the top and picked it off.
Yeah, nice job there by Morgansky. You know, you're right. I mean, almost the second, almost could have been a touchdown, too, if Morgansky comes down with it. He could have got to the sideline untouched. So, you know, the kind of odd plays haven't stopped.
Now QND is faced with 3rd and about 9.5, just outside their own 45-yard line. Out of the spread, McKay takes the snap, rolling to the near side, steps inside defender. No, it's brought down by Josh Vincent as Joe McKay. 2nd sack of the game for Vincent, only the 4th sack given up by QND all year, loss of 5, and it's now 4th and 15 for QND.
Well, Vincent now in the double digits in the sack column this year for the Blue Devils, and getting the ball real quick after the 3 and out. So nice job there by Vincent. Joe McKay thought he was going to beat him back to the inside, but Vincent able to get a hold of one of his ankles and twist and turn him on down.
McKay steps inside Vincent, thought he was going to be able to elude Vincent, but Vincent made a nice play. Now Bailey's punt is a low spiral, and it will go out of bounds right about the 30-yard line, but we'll wait to see where the referee directs the linesman. He starts at the 30 and stops right there. So a short punt of about 29 yards by Zach Bailey, kicking away from Joey Janutis. So we reset. Well, now the linesman walks up to the 33. So it's 1st and 10 Peotone from their own 33. We have 5:42 left to go, third quarter. QND leads Peotone 16-7. And QND goes 3 and out on their first second-half possession.
Your credit, I mean, Peotone. We talked about a lot. Cool City last week. I mean, solid defense all around. I mean, it's good tackling. It's good line play and kind of getting in Anders and Joe McKay's face. It's, you know, guys from the secondary flying around and looking to make big plays. I mean, it's all 11 guys really working hard out there.
On the spread, empty backfield for Peotone. Ball on the left hash. Wenzel directing traffic, can't get Borden to cooperate. And now Peotone has to call a timeout, and boy, is their coaching staff unhappy. We'll take a 60-second break. QND leads 16-7 here in the third quarter on WTAD.
Natalie Stratton of Advanced Physical Therapy talks from the heart about building relationships with her patients.
We do develop relationships with people, and by doing that, they can trust you because they build that rapport with you so they can trust you, and they start to tell you more, and so you learn more about their medical condition or just their life condition, and so it does allow you to, you know, direct them in different ways. You're seeing some people 2 or 3 times a week, you know, for that half hour to an hour of that one-on-one time. Plus, we love it. I mean, that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm in the profession. I like those relationships with people. I see that as a success in treatment. If I can get people to trust me and trust what I'm saying, they're going to buy into what I'm saying. That's why, again, I try to go and do everything I can, new techniques or new ways or different approaches to getting people better. And the more I do that, then, again, you can kind of take people to that next level.
Play fires and it shorts out the receiver Janutis, incomplete.
You know, still having a little bit of, you know, it's not certainly not being able to consistently make those throws. You wonder if QND adjusts here at all, trying to sit these corners down harder, even, or even, you know, putting those outside linebackers in tighter, whatever they want to do, bringing the inside or bringing the defensive linemen in and kind of squeezing them inside, because, you know, we haven't seen much to be afraid of so far in the passing game from the Blue Devils.
6 of 12 for 42 yards, just to amplify your point. Now Wenzel takes off the middle of the field again. He's got running room, and he'll be knocked down inside the Raider 30 at about the 27. And here all of a sudden, out of this spread formation, Kyle, Peotone finding room up the middle with quarterback keeps.
Yeah, Wenzel doing a nice job of those quarterback keeps. I mean, he gets his shoulders squared right away. I mean, he just zips up there, doesn't dance around, doesn't wait for the biggest hole in the world to open up. He just does a nice job zipping right through the hole. So that time doing a nice job as well. Zach Bailey was the one that tackled him, held onto the ball, kind of swung him around, and you know, Wenzel still almost able to stay on his feet.
1st and 10, Peotone at the Raider 27-yard line. Wenzel fakes one way, looks the other, throws the post pattern and overshoots Ziebert, incomplete. Double coverage with Welper outside, Chappell inside, and the pass sailed over Ziebert's head by a good 5 yards.
Well, let's see if Blue Devils come back to that play. It looked like Morganski was on the far side running a double move or a bubble route of some sort there along the sideline. Everyone kind of followed Ziebert on the post right up the middle, and Morganski was kind of out there on his own.
2nd and 10, Peotone from the Raider 27. QND leading 16-7. 4:36 left to go, third quarter. Wenzel barking out signals out of the spread. Bobby Rapson that is, shifts from right sidecar to left sidecar. Ball in the middle of the field. Inside give Bobby Rapson. Now he bounces it down the seam and picks up about 8. And is tackled. Actually, he got close to 10 from where the far side linesman is. And they moved the stick, so a pickup of 10 for Bobby Rapson. And now Peotone's really taking chunks out of the Raider defense.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it almost, even though the Raiders were the ones with the ball that first half, it almost, it's kind of like the Raiders a little bit tired to touch.
We've had a flip of possession here. QND's only run 3 plays in this third quarter, and it's Peotone running all the offensive plays. Bobby Rapson had to leave the game, Kyle, limping. So they bring in yet another running back out of the spread. Wenzel takes the snap, looking right the whole way. Floats one to the end zone, and it's knocked away by Barry Welper and complete. Welper was trying to time the interception, and Chappell came over to help, and they kind of bumped into each other, and Welper couldn't hang on. Incomplete pass in the end zone.
Well, great coverage by Welper, had the inside position. And we mentioned Chappell making a similar play in the first half. That time it's Morganski as the receiver, able to knock that ball away from Welper on what very easily could have been an interception if Morganski hadn't able to get elevated there and knock it away from Barry Welper.
6 out of 14 passing for Brandon Wenzel, 42 yards. 2nd and 10, Peotone from the Raider 18-yard line. QND leading 16-7. Wenzel takes the snap, sets up a middle screen, wide open is Ziebert, middle of the field. He's inside the 10, inside the 5, and pushed back from there. And it's a 1st and goal, Peotone, on a pickup of 13 on the connection to Ziebert on a tight end middle screen.
Yeah, nice play call there. They looked like they were going screen to the running back out in the flat. Linebackers and linemen all react to that, and Ziebert just takes about 2-3 steps upfield and turns around, and he finds a big 6'4" target right over the middle. So nice wrinkle, nice play call there by the Blue Devils, and probably something almost looked like the Raiders, probably something they hadn't seen yet.
1st and goal, Peotone from the Raider 5. Ball on the right hash. Bring a player in motion. They fake the double handoff. Wenzel has it, bounces off the Raider defender and gets it near the goal line. And the ground can't cause a fumble. There's a mad scramble, but I think they're going to mark Wenzel down at the 1-yard line.
Right.
Gain of 4, and it'll be 2nd and goal, Peotone from the QND 1.
And the right call, and again, probably some bad tackling there from QND.
Yep.
I didn't see who missed the tackle, but, they had a chance to bring Wenzel down prior on the 3 or 4 yard line. As it is, he's lunging for the end zone and falls just short.
And let's see what they're doing here. Talking about Peotone, looks like they brought in a different quarterback. No, they brought in a fullback to go wishbone here. Janudis and Goberville are the halfbacks in the wishbone on 2nd and goal from the 1. Wenzel turns, gives, and stuffed at the goal line was the Peotone running back. He made it 2 feet. He needed 3. It's 3rd and goal from the 1-foot line. Handoff that time was to Goberville.
Yeah, nice job there. Looked like Jordan Chappell and Brady Gittenbacher able to bring him down. No yards after contact at all. So they're going to put the pressure here on the Blue Devils. Third and goal.
3rd and goal from about the 1-foot line, maybe a little bit further out than that. Out of the wishbone, double tight. Wenzel under his center. They give it up the middle, and it should be a touchdown for Peotone. And it is. And it was to the fullback, and that's Isaac Badiato. So Badiato gets the touchdown run. And we'll see if Peotone goes for 1 or 2 here. Trailing QND 16-13 with 2:27 left to go in the third quarter. And they go with the swinging gate, so we'll have to be patient here to see what Peotone wants to do.
Well, a lot of times the teams run this swinging gate just to give you one extra thing to prepare for. Really, they're looking to see if you line up incorrectly and they have you outnumbered, out-leveraged at one point or the other. And if you don't, they'll just go ahead and bring everyone in to kick the extra point.
And that's what they do. Lensing will try and add the extra point. Snap back ball down and kick is up, and it's good. Our new score, QND 16, Peotone 14. Back in 30 seconds. Raider football on WTAD. early stages of the third quarter. So Illinois scores on their first possession of the second half, I'm assuming. But here, Kyle, 16-14, QND leading, and they've only run, have the Raiders, 3 plays here in this third quarter with 2:27 left. So what I'm saying is a good drive would behoove the Raiders here.
Yeah, it certainly would. Certainly not a must score, but you certainly want to see them string together a few first downs.
Here's another ugly kick by Joey Janutis that will roll up, but it did, in fact, creep over the sideline out of bounds, and now the Raiders will have a choice here. And they won't take where the ball went out of bounds. That's number one, because it went out of bounds at the 21. So the Raiders will take over at their own 35. QND leading 16-14, but they need to find a rhythm here offensively, Kyle.
Yeah, kind of an ugly set of downs last time around for QND, and even late stages of the second half, not really finding much offensively. So, you know, we'll see what the Raiders have in mind offensively. But either way, you need to see them string together some first downs.
From their own 35, 1st and 10, McKay drops straight back to pass. Looking, fires it out to Dalen Anders. He's got 5, he's got 10, he's got a seam. He's at midfield, lowers his shoulder, and gets outside Peotone territory to about the 46 of the Blue Devils. And that's a quick, easy 24-yard pickup, Kyle.
Yeah, and credit Brady Miller with a big block on that one. Number 61, Miller, one of the linemen that helps sets up the screen pass and really having to throw himself at one of the Blue Devil defenders. And you know, that could have been just a 5-yard play if it wasn't for Brady Miller really flying out there. They're tossing one of the Blue Devils all the way out of bounds even.
So the Raiders have it 1st and 10 at the Peotone, 46-yard line. QND leading 16-14. They run the counter to Anders. Ball in his left arm. Jumps through a hole. Now cuts it inside and picks up 11 yards. That was a jump, skip, head and shoulder slash for 11 yards. Did I use enough adjectives there?
Yeah, but you described it well. So Dalen, you know, Raiders looking to get some rhythm going offensively. They go right to Dalen Anders 2 plays in a row, and Raiders on the move. They take over at their 35, and now they're at inside the Blue Devils' 35-yard line.
1st and 10 QND from the Peotone 34. 100 seconds left, third quarter. Single back Anders. And they give it to Anders, who bobbles the handoff, but gathers it back in and picks up about a yard.
Raiders going to that 2 tight end formation, you know, probably more than we've seen it all year almost.
Yeah, they have.
You know, the lingo they have with Frisco, a tight end on each side and a receiver on each side. That time they position Anders more at the fullback spot, and they run a quick trap play, which is typically something you see. You run to Brady Ginnenbacher on the inside. So Raiders seeing something personnel-wise that really makes them want to go with this double tight set.
They go to that set again. McKay drops straight back to pass. Under pressure. Gets hit as he throws, and the ball falls incomplete. Nothing really there for QND. And how about Josh Vincent? He's having himself a game. He put the pressure on McKay.
There again, McKay was wanting to give Chappell just another second or two to be open on that slant pattern, but Vincent wouldn't allow it, and the ball kind of falls helplessly to the ground. So, you know, and against that 2 tight end set, it seems like the Blue Devil linebackers are really pinching in. So I'm not sure if the Raiders are trying to set up Chappell and Welper on the outside and using that set to give them more room to operate.
Out of the spread now, 3-by-1 the receivers. McKay takes the snap. Immediately throws left and has the pass knocked down by Trevor Ziebert.
Nice play. That time it looked like the Raiders were going to go hook and lateral play. They were trying to get the ball to Chappell on the far side, and they had Anders kind of rolling back out there. I think they were looking to get the ball to Chappell and then toss it back to Anders. That was Ziebert and his long reach. Never get to find out for sure.
Raiders going to go 4th and 9 here, going to go for it from the Peotone 33. Well, I think I'd punt this ball away, Kyle.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. You know, inside the 4-yard line, if you punt in the end zone, you just don't gain much.
McKay takes the snap out of the spread, looking, fires here near sideline, complete the Bailey, and then he dropped it as he went out of bounds. Had it for a moment, was trying to make sure he had possession and got hit from behind and lost it out of bounds. So Peotone takes over on downs, 1st and 10 at their own 33-yard line, and have all the momentum in this ballgame.
Yeah, on a corner out there, and a nice throw from Joe McKay. Credit Brandon Wenzel from his safety spot to help knock it out of Bailey's hands. It looked like Bailey was going to bring it in, but Wenzel with a good jarring hit from behind to knock it loose.
Joey McKay, 10 out of 23, Kyle, for 123 yards. So really, Peotone doing a nice job defensively against the Raider pass attack. 52 seconds left, third quarter. Peotone has it 1st and 10 from their own 33. Wenzel barking out the signals, fakes left, comes back right. Now he's hit as he throws and is picked off by Luke Frieden. Frieden has it middle of the field. He's at the 40 and gets tackled at about the 37-yard line. So the Raiders put pressure on Wenzel. He pumped right, then pumped left, and then got hit as he threw, and Frieden has the first turnover of the game.
Yeah, Blue Devils kind of taking a chance there. They tried to double move. They tried to pump fake from Wenzel and then wanted to go downfield for a big play. I'm not sure you felt like you had to. I mean, there's still plenty of time left in this ball game. They're kind of getting out of their comfort zone a little bit on the deep pass play. And
got greedy.
Yeah, and good pass rush from the Raiders. I didn't see who got to Wenzel, but making it an easy interception for Luke Frieden. And let's see if the Raiders here, with excellent field position, can make this count.
The power eye ball in the middle of the field, pitch it to Anders. And he's got 5, he's got 10. He's inside the 35, inside the 25, I should say, and down around the 23-yard line. That was a nice, clean 14-yard pickup for Dalen Anders.
Yeah, kind of getting this drive started just like the last one got started. They were with a nice chunky yards to Dalen Anders, and let's see if the Raiders can finish a little bit stronger.
19 carries, 79 yards for Dalen Anders. 1st and 10 QND from the Peotone 23. 25 seconds left, third quarter. QND clinging to a 16-14 lead as the sun sets. Power icing receiver far side. Ball on the right hash. McKay with a longer count this time. And he'll turn, give it to Parker Kinsel. Kinsel tries to poke his way through a hole and picked up about 3, maybe 4. Inside the 20, I think. Just inside the 20, mark him at the 19. That's a pickup of 4. 2nd and 6 QND as the third quarter comes to a close. What an exciting fourth quarter we have coming up, ladies and gentlemen. QND leading 16-14. Possibly the final 12 minutes of the season for somebody. Coming up here in 1 minute. This is Raider Football on WTAD.
My dreams have come true.
First Bankers Trust, your bank of dreams.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls. I'll confidentially ask you questions to help you make decisions about your life insurance, IRAs, long-term care insurance, investing, and estate planning. Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls.
In the past,
17.
Good deal.
The Raiders play here on Talk Radio 930 WTAD.
We start the fourth quarter. QND has a 2nd and 6, and they pitch it to Dalen Anders to the Raiders. He slips through run hole. A pile shoves him forward for a gain of about 3.
This time QND coming out in that power back set, the power I formation there with 3 running backs. And that time they even traded out a receiver for an extra tight end to get some more muscle up front.
They only gave Anders a gain of 2, Kyle. 3rd and 4 for QND from the Peotone 17-yard line. And the Raiders go to the Wildcat with Brady Ginnebacher taking the direct snap. He takes it, runs right up the middle, and will not get the first down. Basically, Peotone saw that, Kyle, and Nick Goberville just shot the gap, knowing Ginnebacher wasn't going to get too fancy. And now the Raiders are right back at the line of scrimmage, hoping to go for it on 4th down. 4th and about 1.5 yards. Quick pitch to Anders. He cuts it inside, and he will not get the first down. They forced Anders to turn inside, or outside, I should say, and he just didn't have enough leverage to make a move, Kyle, and Peotone holds on downs.
Yeah, credit the Blue Devils again inside their own red zone with really clamping down. So again, the Raiders with excellent field position, unable to complete a drive.
Kyle, I would say if QND was trailing, I would use that sequence of plays. But when you're winning, take your time and make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, you know, it seemed like Peotone, especially on that 3rd down play, you nailed it, really had that Wildcat formation play snuffed out.
So Peotone takes over on downs yet again, this time at their own 15. Give it to Bobby Rapson. Rapson sidesteps 1 and gets back to the line of scrimmage for no gain.
You know, make no doubt about it. I mean, Peotone believes this game is theirs. I mean, you can tell the way the kids carry themselves, the way the fans are really, cheering along in every single yard that's gained. I mean, they believe this is theirs. They believe they kind of weathered the storm in that first half with the penalties and the field position, and that this game's theirs to take.
10.5 minutes to go in the contest. QND clinging to a 16-14 lead. Out of the spread, Brandon Wenzel, the quarterback, takes the snap, looking right the whole way, pitches it out here to his receiver Margansky, makes Jordan Obert miss, and then is piled on at about the 17-yard line. That was a lot of action for a 2-yard gain.
It was.
Well, they gave him 3, actually. Closer to 4.
Probably took a little bit too long trying to shake Jordan Obert, so credit Jordan Obert there for forcing him back inside and getting his Raider teammates to help make the tackle.
So 3rd and about 7 for Peotone from their own 18-yard line. Brandon Wenzel, the quarterback, directing traffic. Has Janutis out here one-on-one on the corner. Now Janutis goes in motion. They fake the inside give to Janutis, and with it still is Wenzel, and he's fighting, and he'll get to the 20, but he's still 4 yards short of the first down.
Ginnenbach with a nice tackle there.
Actually, the far side linesman's at the 22, so it's going to bring up 4th and about 2.5 for Peotone.
You know, as much as they'd like to get this going, I think you got to, yeah, there you go. You got to punt this here and keep trying to play this field position game, and you certainly can't get the Raiders that kind of field position if they didn't pick it up. A lot of action. Craig Ginnenbacher there with a nice tackle. They had jet sweep going to the far side of the Peotone Blue Devils' left-hand side. They did crossback action to the right, and said Wenzel kept it up the middle.
Here's a penalty flag flying as Rapson with the rugby punt really wanted to fake it. Instead gets a line drive rolling kick that will roll dead at about the QND 46. But what's the flag all about? The near side linesman is the one who threw the flag. He sprints towards the referee to tell him the call. If it's on QND, it's a first down for Peotone.
Exactly right. If someone lined up off sides.
Sideline warning on QND.
You get a first down here? Oh, okay.
It's a warning.
Okay. Well, he said first down, then he pointed to the Blue Devils' direction, but he's saying first down over there where the ball got downed.
Right. I'm pretty sure you get a warning and then you get the penalty. But it looks like the umpire's going to walk. No, he's just going to put the ball down. Okay.
You're right. It's just when he pointed, he was pointing to where the ball got downed and not saying first down this way.
All right.
Yeah, I get excitable this time of year, you know.
Kyle, there's 9 minutes left in a playoff game, and QND's clinging to a 2-point lead. You can't get excited. You're not trying real hard. So from their own 46, 1st and 10 Raiders, 9 minutes left in the game, 16-14 QND leads. Give it to Anders on a counter. He's got 5. He's got 10. Needs a block from Jordan Obert. Anders stutters and gets knocked out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. That was a nice, tidy 24-yard pickup for Dalen Anders. He's over 100 yards for the game.
Well, a nice job there by Anders. Let's see the Raiders finish the drive. It's the 3rd drive in a row here. We've had, Anders start the drive looking terrific, and you think, man, the Raiders are really showing some rhythm here. It'd be obviously, any touchdown here in the 4th quarter playoff game is big, but, if the Raiders can get 7 points here, you make it a 2-score game.
Exactly.
So tons of opportunity, and every play real big here for the Blue Devils to keep themselves in the ball game.
Power I for QND. No receivers. Double tight, power I. McKay turns, gives it to Kinsel. He will be knocked forward, and they blew the whistle early.
Oh, yeah,
Kinsel was still twisting. They blew the whistle, and then Kinsel landed.
Yeah.
But Parker Kinsel picks up 3 out of the power I. It's going to be 2nd and 7 for QND.
Yeah, I think you or I need to explain to the referees. You got to give Kinsel a little bit more time. He's going to keep fighting. He's going to keep scrapping and clawing for an extra half a yard. So you got to let him go.
So the Raiders have 2nd and 7 from the Peotone 27. QND clinging to a 16-14 lead. Power I, single receiver far side is Jordan Obert. Anders the deep back. Kinsel goes in motion towards the far side. On 2nd and 7, McKay turns, gives it to Anders. He slips through a hole, and is grabbed and taken down after a gain of 3, maybe 4. Brings up a 3rd and about 3 for QND. Put the ball down at the Peotone 22. So it's 3rd and 2 for QND, and Anders picked up 5 yards on the play.
Well, they set themselves up here with the 3rd and short, exactly what they wanted. And, kind of clock running time here. Perfect scenario here for QND as you turn this last 22 yards into a 6-7 play drive and run lots of clock.
Need to move the sticks, though. Keep the drive going.
Yeah, first things
Power
first.
I, double tight. Quick count. And Ginnenbacher gets the first down. He's all the way inside the 20 to about the 17-yard line.
Here we go. You wonder if you see some more straight ahead running here from QND. Certainly Anders has looked good at times here. But not necessarily in the red zone. It seems like the pursuit's really stepped up from the Blue Devils. Once you get inside that red zone, they kind of find another gear.
Well, if the scouting report, if you look at the Illini West and Coal City games, you follow 26 wherever. In the red zone, it gets a little tougher for Anders to find space. 1st and 10, Raiders give it to Anders. He's got space this time. Turns the corner, lowers his shoulder, and gets inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line for close to 10 yards. Looks like he has the first down, according to the sticks on the far side.
Yeah, terrific run there. That time off the left-hand side, lowered his shoulder at about the 9-10 yard line there. Ran over Joey Janutis, and another first down. Back-to-back first down plays for QND. We're inside. We're about 6.5 minutes left. QND hoping to make this a 2-score ball game.
What? Oh, because he went out of bounds, the clock is stopped. Talking about QND.
I thought he stayed in.
Power I, 1st and goal Raiders from the 6. Turn, give it to Anders, and he's roughed up immediately as he tried to turn the corner. No gain on the play. 2nd and goal, QND. Zeke Little already warming his leg up for a possible field goal attempt.
You know, I'd imagine, assuming the Raiders are able to get the ball inside the 5-yard line, I'd almost think you'd make it 4-down territory. I mean, certainly if they get a big holding penalty or get marched backwards somehow, they might kick it. But I think you'd go for it and, you know, try to make the Blue Devils go the length of the field if need be, if he got stopped.
6 minutes left to go in the game. QND leading 16-14. 2nd and goal Raiders from the 7-yard line. Power I, Anders the deep back. No wide receivers. Pitch it wide to Anders, and a penalty flag flies.
The Raiders flinched.
Must have, because nobody looked like they moved early, so you're right, Kyle. Must have been just a flinch.
Yep.
5-yard penalty on QND. It's their first penalty in a while. QND only has 5 penalties, now they have 6 penalties to the Raiders. Peotone has 7. But the 5-yard penalty takes it back to the 12-yard line where it's 2nd and goal QND. Just under 6 minutes to play in the contest, and the Raiders, I'm going to use it again, folks, clinging to a 16-14 lead.
Well, that's a good description here. You certainly want to see them get this ball in the end zone and then help themselves there with a 5-yard penalty going backwards. 2nd and goal from the 12 for QND out of the power I. McKay turns, gives it to Anders, and he'll get to the 10-yard line. Great backside pursuit by Borden. Kyle, I only read about Brandon Borden in a brief mention, but he's been nails here today for Peotone. He has. He's been flying all over the field. It seems like we've seen Trevor Ziebert flying around the field. Josh Benson's had a nice game. You know, it seems like, you know, good tackling from the Blue Devils, and it also seems like they're getting 4 or 5 hats to the ball oftentimes, and real good game tackling, good pursuit. Real solid defense 2 weeks in a row that QND has gone against. 3rd and goal QND from the 10-yard line. Out of the power I, McKay takes, he rolls out. Backside pressure, he fires, complete. Is it in the end zone? No. Wow. Ginnebacher catches at the 1. It's 4th and goal from the 1-yard line for a pickup of 9. And I think it was Margansky on the coverage. It was either 20 or 21, Goberville. You know, that was kind of, for those that watch a lot of football, you remember the Patriots-Colts a few years ago, and they caught the ball just short of a first down marker, and the guy went down right away. That's kind of the same idea. Ginnebacher short of the end zone. So nice pitch and catch from to Ginnebacher, but Raiders will go for it on 4th down from inside the 1. Power I, no receivers. Turn, give it to Kinsel, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown. Parker Kinsel, he ran that time, Kyle, like he was shot out of a cannon. Zach Bailey does a chest bump with Dalen Anders and knocked Dalen Anders 5 yards backwards. Yeah, well, the Raiders are enjoying that touchdown, not just because it's a big one, but, man, the offense realizes how hard they fought for every point this game. I mean, the Blue Devils defense just making them scratch and claw. Here's Bailey's extra point attempt, and it's good. What a great kick by Bailey, because Janutis darn near landed in Bailey's lap as he was attempting to kick. Our new score with 4:24 left to go in the game, QND 23. Peotone 14, back in 30 seconds on WTAD.
Peotone. 4:24 left to go in the contest. And Kyle Vemberlo, how big has fourth down been in this game?
Well, we saw it that time again, and credit, the Raiders kind of mix up going to Parko Kinsel. Instead of going to Anders, kind of the feature back, or the Genenbach, or the senior captain, they go to Kinsel to get it in. And, just as big as the fourth down play was, it was really the third down connection that made it more possible. I mean, the Raiders backed all the way up to the 8 or 9 yard line or so. McKay connects with Genenbacher to get down to the 1 or inside the 1. So instead, it makes it an easy call. Okay, you're going to go for it from fourth down inside the 1. It's not like it's fourth down, at the 7 yard line or something like that. You're all the way inside the 1. It's obviously time to go for it.
Zeke Little with the kick, and he pounds one. That will bounce and barely crawl over the goal line for an automatic touchback. Now, with the sun setting, the wind has pretty much disappeared here at 10th and Jackson. At least according to the American flag, it is not moving at all. So that will not be a factor. If it were about 2 hours ago, Peotone would have to drive into the wind here and try and go 80 yards. As it is, it's 1st and 10 Peotone from their own 20, trailing 23-14. And Kyle, as you mentioned, as the Raiders got possession of that ball, a touchdown and the extra point makes it a 2-possession game. But the Raiders need to concentrate here on defense. Sidecar right out of the pistol. Brandon Wenzel, the quarterback, takes the snap. Backs up, wants to set up a screen. Boom! Hit as he throws, and it's complete to Margansky. He slips one tackle, and he's going to get a block from Janudis. Margansky's at the 45-40, 35-30, 25-20, and knocked down inside the Raider 20 at the 11-yard line.
Wow. Credit Windsor with hanging in there against the rush. Hit as he threw, but, man, he put it on the money. A couple broke tackles, and Welper knew he was the last line of defense, so he gave up a ton of ground, trying to let his Raiders pursue. He knew Janudis was going to get into him as the blocker, so he might give up 40 yards there, but he's going to make the Blue Devils line back up.
69-yard pickup by Peotone. 1st and 10, Blue Devils at the Raider 11 under 4 minutes to play in the game. Wenzel brings Janudis in motion on the jet sweep, hands it to Janudis, trying to turn the corner. Chappell comes up, hits him, and throws him down by the jersey. It was a shoulder jersey grab, not a horse collar. And Jordan Chappell, Kyle, you saw it in his eyes. That kid's got the ball. I'm our best hope. I'm flying up and tackling.
Yeah, he's certainly the best hope with the speed there. Nice job there by Chappell. It's the second time we see him run the alley today on that jet sweep. And, man, you talk about just a player who contributes in all facets of the ball game. There's Jordan Chappell again from the safety spot.
Loss of 8 on the play, loss of 6 on the play. It's 2nd and 16. Now Wenzel rolls out far sideline, throws through the hands of the receiver and complete. A little bit high trying to hit Margansky, who's still gashed from that 69-yard pass play. And it's going to be 3rd and about 14 for Peotone. Now they can get a first down at the 1-yard line. And this is definitely 4-down territory. 3:23 left to go in the game. QND leads 23-14. Peotone has it. They'll snap the ball at the Raiders 16. Boy, I thought Janudis got tackled deeper than that, Kyle. But they say it's only about a 5-yard loss, so it's only 3rd and 15. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I thought Janudis lost about 7 on that previous play. Now out of the wishbone on 3rd and 15 from the Raiders 16. Wenzel gives it right up the middle of the ransom. He hits a hole, and he's tackled in the middle of the field by Chappell at about the 7. Wow. So a pickup of 9 will bring up 4th and about 6 for Peotone. That was an interesting play.
Yeah, 3rd and 15. Again, 3rd and 15, they come into the wishbone, catches us both off guard, and they're going to go ahead and just try to get the 3.
Oh, wow. This really surprises me, Kyle. Lining up for the field goal attempt from the right hash is Wensing, and now a flag flies. The play clock had plenty on it, so this is some sort of line of scrimmage penalty. And again, this place goes deathly quiet. Illegal substitution on Peotone. So this will now be a 30-yard field goal attempt as opposed to a 25-yard field goal attempt.
And it's from the hash, which always makes it a little bit trickier. Sometimes these marks on the right hash for right-footed kicker, you got to kind of pull it over.
Yeah, he's got to hit kind of a snap hook. So a 30-yard field goal attempt, snap back ball down, and it's a woeful kick, no good.
I think the Raiders might have got a hand, I'm not sure, but either way, ball never out of shot.
And we have Logan Schutte holding his shoulder. It's his left shoulder, and he's got a sleeve on his left elbow. But the missed field goal, it's Wensing, hit a low line drive that bounced off the play clock, which is what, 3 yards to the left of the far upright. So the Raiders take over on downs at their own 20, leading 23-14 with 2:50 left to go in the game. Peotone has 2 timeouts left. Raiders have all 3.
Well, credit Barry Welper there again on that first play, bringing down, making the tackle inside the 15-yard line or so. What looked like it was probably going to be a touchdown. Janutis was out there blocking Welper. Welper brings him down, makes the Blue Devils line back up, and the Raiders make the stop.
Out of the power I, 1st and 10 from the 20. Anders takes the handoff and breaks the line of scrimmage. He's got 5. He's got 10. He's got 15. Turns the corner and is shoved out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. And Peotone, Kyle, really selling out. And once Anders was able to skip past the line of scrimmage, he had lots of green grass to work with.
Yeah, he did. Had Janutis out here at the cornerback spot. Jordan Overt out here doing the blocking. And Anders, again, we've seen him all second half. He gets the Raiders going off to a real good start on each drive. And the Raiders kind of out of the shadow of their own end zone outside the 40-yard line.
27 carries, 143 yards for Dalen Anders. Now, Peotone was able to shove Anders out of bounds, which stops the clock. 2:43 left to go. QND leading 23-14. Out of the power I, they give it to one of the upbacks. And it's Kinsel. Oh, it was Anders. I thought they gave it to Kinsel, but they gave it to Anders. Joe McKay faked me out, but not Peotone, because Anders only picked up 2. It's 2nd and 8. Tick, 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 though goes the clock.
Sure does. It, kind of an interesting scenario there on Peotone's last possession. Again, it just goes to show, I mean, we every play being so important, it might not look like a foregone conclusion there that they might be able to put points on the board and get in the end zone, but Welper brings them down, and then Peotone comes away with no points.
I am confused about something, Kyle, and we'll talk about it here in just a moment. On 2nd and 8 from their own 43, give to Anders. He bounces it to the outside, stops, cuts inside, has the first down and more inside Peotone territory to about the 45-yard line. 1st and 10 QND, pickup of 12. Kyle, here's the deal. Peotone sells out on the first down play from the 20 for QND. Anders picks up 21. On 2nd down, you stop Anders for a 2-yard gain. Burn a timeout.
Yeah, you kind of wondered, it looked like it was probably a timeout situation as well. They decide not to, and inside 2 minutes now. Raiders obviously looking real good here. Up 9, minute 40 left.
Raiders go to the power I with the double tight formation. Tappy and Chappell are your tight ends. Give right up the middle to Ginnenbacher. He's got 5, and now the pile pushes him forward. He'll get about 6 or 7. Inside the Peotone 40 to about the 38, and now the Blue Devils call a timeout. Okay. They basically let 50 seconds go off the clock, Kyle. Pickup of 7 for Brady Ginnenbacher. He has 23 yards on 7 carries, but he has 2 touchdowns. He's your best fantasy player of the day.
He is. He's a second-round fantasy pick.
23-14, QND leads, a minute 27 left. If QND can hang on here, they will go to the Quad Cities next Saturday and take on the Alleman Pioneers. Rock Island Alleman defeated Mahomet Seymour 35-20 earlier today.
Well, they're obviously looking like they're in real good shape here. It, again, kind of an odd game. I'm not even sure how I'd.
This game has settled down a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, it has.
But if it was as odd in the second half as it was in the first half, holy shnikes.
I think it'd be a tough post-game show. When you describe what happened today.
I tell you what, I would not.
No, thanks.
I don't know that I'd want to do a post-game show with Peotone's coach today.
Yeah,
his team. I'll tell you what. I give full credit to the Blue Devils because they have been as advertised. They were going to fight, claw, and make QND earn a victory here today, and that's what QND's had to do if the Raiders can hang on to the ball here in the final 90 seconds.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we've seen it 2 weeks in a row. Probably 2 of the best defenses QND's gone against all year. Same conference, same style.
2nd and 3 QND after the Peotone timeout. Give it to Ginnenbacher. He's going to have the first down, and they let them go, and Ginnenbacher is tackled inside the 35 at about the 34. 1st and 10 QND, and a pickup of about 4 on the play. But a new set of downs for the Raiders, and they wind the clock with 80 seconds left to go. And now a flag down as the Raiders will get called for a substitution penalty. Last week, he barely realized the officials were here at 10th and Jackson. Here today, they've been involved.
They've been very busy. Very busy and made some calls and it turned out to be very impactful plays there, especially that first half. And this penalty being somewhat irrelevant. They're going to get the Raiders for too many men in the huddle, too many men on the field, but won't matter much.
Moves the ball back 5 yards to the Peotone 39, 1st and 15, but they wind the clock with 1 minute left to go in the game. Peotone has 1 timeout left. Raiders waiting as long as possible, and there's still 10 on the play clock. 23-14, QND leads. McKay takes the snap, takes a knee. See if Peotone burns the final timeout or just... No, they're just going to let the clock wind. So the Raiders, talk about a gut check, Kyle.
Sure.
Win it 23-14 and had everything they wanted from the Peotone Blue Devils and more here today.
That's some. You know, we talked a lot about it heading into the postseason. You know, the Raiders hadn't played a ton of four-quarter games. How would they react having to go toe-to-toe for 4 quarters? Well, it's the second week in a row. They responded real well in tough situations in the second half.
Last play of the game. Joe McKay takes the snap and takes a knee, and that'll do it. So the QND Raiders, Kyle, for the first time all season, win by less than double digit. But who cares? They've made it to the 3rd round of the playoffs. Your final score, QND 23, Peotone 14. Next Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, we are told QND will take on Rock Island Alleman at Augustana Stadium. 23-14, QND defeats Peotone. Back in about 3 minutes or so here on WTAD.
Natalie Stratton of Advanced Physical Therapy talks from the heart about building relationships with her patients.
We do develop relationships with people, and by doing that, they can trust you because they build that rapport with you so they can trust you, and they start to tell you more, and so you learn more about their medical condition or just their life condition, and so it does allow you to, direct them in different ways. And you're seeing some people 2 or 3 times a week, for that half hour, 10 hour of that one-on-one time. Plus, we love it. I mean, that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm in the profession. I like those relationships with people. I see that as a success in treatment. If I can get people to trust me and trust what I'm saying, they're going to buy into what I'm saying. That's why, again, I try to go and do everything I can, new techniques or new ways or different approaches to getting people better. And the more I do that, then, again, you can kind of take people to that next level.
Advanced Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. On the web at advancept.net. Advance through life with Advance.
What's a podiatrist? A foot doctor. A foot doctor? I didn't know there was such a thing. There is. 25 years ago, I started out with a business plan and a dream. I went to 3 area banks. First Bankers Trust, said it was great, and they asked me if I wanted more money than what I was asking for. But that was the start of my relationship with First Bankers Trust. My dreams have come true.
First Bankers Trust, your bank of dreams.
In the past, everyone came to you and you did business at your own kitchen table.
This is Financial Services Representative Michael Libman with MetLife in Quincy. I still make house calls. I'll confidentially ask you questions to help you make decisions about your life insurance, IRAs, long-term care insurance, investing and estate planning. Call me and I'll come sit with you at your kitchen table.
MetLife offers financial services and life insurance. Call Michael Libman. He makes house calls.